Yo, good morning. Well, not good morning. It's afternoon. 1:34 p.m. Eastern time. Good morning. Trying to say it again. Good afternoon, everyone. And we are going to talk about the Big Ten. Right. First, we're going to get into another video. I'm just going to get right into it because, I don't have time for all that today. Gonna get this done. And Winthrop sent this to me on Twitter. So we're going to check it out and I'm going to review it real quick. Let me put this on playback speed of 1.5 so we can get through it. All right. And again, welcome everyone. Hit the like button on your way in. Support the stream with your likes. They are free. Hello, Auntie. How are you? Seeking My Creator. What's up? How y'all doing? Thanks for coming. All right, let me share this screen and we'll get started. All right, so this video starts out how lower class blacks became the face of the black community. Let's see what he has to say.
Now, how is it that the members of the black community, such as the celebrities, actors, and the entertainers from the lowest rung of the ladder, came to be the most influential members to the black community? Why are they there, and what caused them to get to that spot? The explanation comes from professor and sociologist Dr. E. Fraser Franklin in his 1957 book titled Black Bourgeoisie. And as we go through this explanation, I want you to listen very carefully because what we're going to go on is a journey. And in this journey, we're going to deal with some backstory on Black American culture, and all this is going to lead us to our final destination of answering this question. But I need you to go through the full journey in order to get the understanding. And so once you understand this history, then it'll no longer be a mystery. And so let's go in here to page 113, where it says this. There have been only two really vital cultural traditions in the social history of the Negro in the United States. One being the genteel tradition of the small group of mulattoes who assimilated the morals and manners of the slave-holding aristocracy. So the first of the two notable black traditions was the genteel tradition, which placed high value on conventional family life, sexual purity.
Oh, darn it. I was muted. So first thing I want to pay attention to is how it is in the book. It is cast as the proper morals came from the slave-holding aristocracy and not from, free Northern culture, right? That kind of puts a negative tint on it from the get-go.
Manners, education, and so forth. And this tradition was learned from the slave-holding aristocracy or the nobility or the elite or the upper class slaveholders, right? And so this small group of mostly mulattoes took their culture from these people. And keep in mind that it says small because most of the blacks didn't have this culture. So this was one of the cultures. Let's continue. And the other, the culture of the black folk who gave the world the spirituals, which is the culture which developed as an adaptation to the slave environment. The first small group had the mind of the slaveholder, and the second mass group had the mind of the slave, right? Let's continue. The genteel tradition, or the one that came from this aristocracy, flourished especially in such large communities of free mulattoes as those in Charleston, South Carolina, and New Orleans, Louisiana. It was maintained by those mulatto families that had acquired as part of their family traditions the patterns of behavior which were associated with the ideal of the Southern lady and Southern gentleman. Some families took pride in the fact that a mulatto ancestor could not be distinguished in his physical appearance, dress, manners, and speech from his white half-brother. And they had these thoughts because they had bought into the idea that the traditional European features were superior to all the others. And so, in other words, they believed this to be true. Let's continue. As a rule, these families formed a closed circle from which were excluded all who could not boast of similar ancestry and did not conform to the same standards of morals and manners. They were exceedingly self-conscious of their culture, which consisted of the enjoyment of English and, in Louisiana, French classical literature and music. Sometimes they maintained literary societies in which they could enjoy and foster their culture. Many of these families migrated before the Civil War to the north, where they formed a small upper class that boasted of its genteel traditions. After the Civil War, the free mulatto class continued to hold itself aloof from the masses of freedmen. The Civil War ended in 1865, and by that time, the masses of blacks were no longer legally enslaved. And the Negroes with the genteel culture, they were trying to distance themselves from the masses because at that point they were culturally different people. Let's continue. In Louisiana, the hostility of some members of this class to the newly emancipated blacks was so great that they opposed giving political rights to the freedmen. But generally, the free mulatto class and its descendants assumed as far as possible positions of leadership among the Negro masses. They did not break down the traditional barriers to easy social intercourse and marriage. Even in their religious affiliations, the descendants of the free mulattoes held aloof from the Negro masses. They generally affiliated with the Episcopal, Congregational, Presbyterian, and Catholic churches, while the Negro masses, as we have seen, were affiliated with the Baptist and Methodist churches. The descendants of the free mulattoes became, after the
I gotta say, I noticed a lot of us versus them, right? And it seems like it's framed in a oppressor oppressed framework.
Civil War, the core of a small class which undertook to maintain the American pattern of family life and conventional sex mores. So the offspring of this class looked to maintain the values that they had developed over the years. And this was one of the reasons that they kept a distance from the Negro masses, because if they would have started mingling closely with the Negro masses, then their culture would have been compromised, especially being that there were more in numbers coming from the Negro masses who were the carriers of the slave mindset. Let's continue. In some small communities in the South, a single family with this social and cultural background would live in complete isolation rather than associate with the masses of Negroes. And why was that? For the reason we just went over. In their quiet, obscure lives, they expressed often their contempt for the black upstarts who, in their view, and often in fact, possessed neither morals nor manners. And again, this is why they attempted to separate themselves from the Negro masses, who had a very different set of morals and manners. And this is how people have always separated themselves before the European colonizer came along and started lumping people into these very large groups.
See, and what I notice is the use of the term colonizer. Yeah, it tells you about the mindset, which I don't know why people think that's some sort of an own, or a derogatory comment. It says more about the person using it than any negative connotation it's supposed to hold.
Like black, white, Asian, and so forth, right? Groups that never initially agreed to be lumped in there together. Let's continue. The attitudes of those who came to terms with the successful members of the rising black masses was expressed by a young mulatto college student who was a descendant of a prominent free mulatto family. When asked how she felt when a big, ill-mannered Negro male student addressed her rudely and tossed her about, replied, "Well, since I've got to live with these N-words, I might as well act like one." So now at this point, we have members of the Negro masses who were attending school with other members from the mulatto class, and there was conflict. The mulatto class was stuck with the Negro mass, and we can see the frustration coming from the student here. And I'm pretty sure the Negro masses didn't like them either, right? Let's continue. On the whole, the tradition of the gentleman has ceased to have influence on either the manners or morals of the Negro community. The tradition they had stopped having influence on the Negro community, and later on we're going to find out exactly why, because it ties into the main topic of this video. In the Negro colleges, it is futile for teachers to exhort the students to behave like ladies and gentlemen. Futile means pointless. And why was it futile or pointless to get the Negro students to behave like ladies and gentlemen? Because at this point, the Negro masses had begun to take over, and the culture that they carried was nothing like the genteel culture that some of the mulatto class had. So from here, let's understand some of the background coming from the Negro masses and the culture that they had developed. The folk culture of the American Negro developed out of his experiences on American soil. Whatever element of African culture might have survived enslavement became merged with the Negro's experience in the new environment and lost their original meaning. The Negro was made in America, right? From the language, the food, the thinking, the dancing, the songs, right? And even the physical makeup being a mixture of different people. And Dr. Fraser says that anything that survived that would have come from Africa was merged into this new environment and it lost its original meaning, right? So a new culture and a new people were created from this completely different experience.
I just want to add here, that actually makes Black people uniquely American among all other Americans, right? Whether you like it or not, if your forebears got here in the 1800s, 1700s, right? You are a uniquely Western individual and uniquely American. Just is what it is.
Let's continue. From the beginning, the Negro had to learn the language of his masters, and there was no chance to preserve African languages except in some isolated areas, as for example, along the coast of South Carolina and Georgia and the neighboring islands. The character which the Negro family acquired under the system of slavery was due to the exigencies of servitude rather than surviving African patterns of behavior. Exigencies meaning what was needed in a situation. So the character of the Negro family, which included the woman heading the house, was needed under the system of American slavery, and it was not something that was of African origin. In a situation where no legal recognition of family existed, the dominant position of the woman in the Negro family was due to the concession that had to be made to the needs of the children as well as to attachment of mothers to their offspring. Even in the matter of religion, there are no evidences of African survivals as in the West Indies and in Brazil. Moreover, when the folk beliefs of the Negro are studied, it is difficult to disentangle the African elements from European folklore and practices and those folk beliefs which are a product of the American experience. The folk culture of the Negro was associated with the church, which has been the most important institution in the rural communities of the South. In fact, the community derived its name from the church, most often Baptist or Methodist, and the location of the membership of a particular church defined the limits of the communal life. It has been in the church that the Negro has found a meaning for existence, and it was the church that enlisted his deepest loyalties. The church set up and defined the norms and moral conduct and provided the necessary discipline to enforce its rules and behavior.
I would hold on to that little tidbit.
Was the church set up and defined the norms and moral conduct?
The church set up and defined the norms of moral conduct and provided the necessary discipline to enforce its rules of behavior. Yeah.
And provided the necessary discipline to enforce its rules and behavior. It was the church that the Negro spirituals or religious folk songs were born. So the church was the most important aspect of the Negro's life. And because it meant so much to them, they developed a deep emotional attachment to that institution, which still lingers today in many of the descendants of those people who make up the most religious group in America, right? These are the roots as to why the Black Americans are the most religious, right? It's not because they found some truth or anything like that. It's because the church was the institution that was necessary for the people to get through the slave experience that they had, because it offered at least some level of hope, right? Let's continue. In these religious folk songs, the Negro attempted to find his meaning for his existence and at the same time, an escape from his tragic fate. You see that? It gave them some form of escape from the miserable condition that they found themselves in. It was a tool that they used for that time and place to serve that purpose. Let's continue. The folk tradition of the Negro, like the gentile tradition, has been dissipated or transformed as the result of migration and urbanization. During their wanderings, the Negro folk have created the blues, which tell of their disillusionment and nostalgic yearning for the sympathy and understanding of the world of the folk which they have left. The secular folk song of these Black troubadours in American industrial society are living records of the reaction of the uprooted Black folk in the world of the city. In the countless storefront churches of northern cities, the Negro migrant has vainly attempted to cling to the traditional religious life of the rural South, right? So some people just didn't want to give it up because it's comfortable for humans to do the same things that they're used to doing. And the church life of the rural South, it created this type of comforting effect in the people who moved into the city. Let's continue. But more often, with the loss of his simple faith in the world of the city, he has sought salvation in various religious cults, some with nationalistic aims, which are indicative of his groping to find an escape from the white man's world. As a result of contacts with the public school, the children of the folk have sloughed off the folk belief of their parents and learned the secular scientific techniques of survival in urban environment. Thus, instead of their old resignation towards the world, the Negro masses are acquiring a confidence in the efficacy of their effort through the use of the ballot and joining with fellows through the use of unions. So that was some of the background on the two different traditional Negro cultures that developed here in America. They developed under completely different circumstances, right? And they served different purposes. Understand? So at this point, coming into the story, the Negro masses, they've moved from the South, the rural South, and they moved into the cities, a lot of them, where their culture and their mindset interacted with this newly discovered environment. And so they begin going to college, getting educated, making more money, and climbing up.
Black people were already in the cities, right? Black people in small numbers were already in northern cities long ago. You know, go to your whatever state you're in, look up the first Black person that was elected, right? It's not going to be in the 1960s, right? So they were already there. So and those people had already adapted to those cultures long before, like 1800s. Right? Because that's when you're going to see a lot of people that have been elected to public office. Matter of fact, the first Black cop in Los Angeles was in the 1800s, right? So functional Black people existed there long before, right? And what happened was when they brought in Southern Blacks and, you know, everything kind of started to fall apart. The two different groups were obvious, but they had to be lumped together geographically. And there was not an opportunity to segregate based on class.
The economic ladder. And with this new dynamic, this is where things get interesting, right? And so let's go in here to page 125, where it says this. As the Black bourgeoisie has grown in size and influence, Durham has ceased to enjoy the distinction of being its capital. Durham, North Carolina was known as the first capital of the Black bourgeoisie. The Negro communities in Chicago and Detroit have both claimed to become the center of the Black bourgeoisie. In either case, the shift of the capital of the black bourgeoisie from a small southern city to a northern metropolis is indicative of the change in the character and outlook of this class. Although the younger generation of Negro businessmen in Durham had acquired more thoroughly than the pioneers the psychology of modern business, they were still influenced by the older traditions that had grown up in the Negro community. And the older traditions are referring to the morals and the values that were inherited from that aristocracy class, right? The one with the free mulattoes. This was the class of Negroes that developed their culture under the circumstance of being free, right? They were the first class of Negroes that we discussed. Let's continue. They still conformed to the tradition of the gentleman, which lingered and shaped their morals and manners. They still felt some identification with the Negro masses, despite the fact that their interests might be opposed to those of the masses. This was due partly to the fact that they, as well as the Negro masses, lived under a system of rigid racial segregation. And this small group was forced to remain separate from the rest of the whites, and they were forced to live amongst the Negro masses. Here we go. Moreover, they were more closely identified with the institution in the Negro communities, which were supported by the masses. On the other hand, the black bourgeoisie, which has become important in recent years, remember this is in the 1950s, has tended to break completely with the traditions of the Negro. And this black bourgeoisie is the blacks that came from the Negro masses, the ones who were the carriers of the slave mindset and the culture, right? Remember, they began getting educated and making money. And this mass element of people, they became the new black bourgeoisie, which broke away from the traditions of the old black bourgeoisie. Let's continue. As the system of rigid racial segregation has broken down, the black bourgeoisie has lost much of its feeling of racial solidarity with the Negro masses. In the metropolitan areas of the North, where there are increasing opportunities for employment and earning money, social mobility, which means primarily the attainment of middle-class status, has become a question of the amount of money which one has to spend, right? Not how thrifty or how much money a person could save, but how much money a person could spend. This was the mindset of this new black bourgeoisie, right? The ones who came with that slave mindset. Let's continue. When a French sociologist on a study tour in the United States saw the emergence of the black bourgeoisie in northern cities, he observed that they were really colored Babbitts. And Babbitts means a materialistic professional or a materialistic business person, a person who spends without thinking, right? That's how the French sociologist described this new black bourgeoisie. Let's keep going. The break with traditional values is seen in the changes in the canons of respectability. Among the older upper class families in the Negro community who really stood for a middle class way of life, the canons of respectability required a stable family and conventional sex behavior. So to gain respect amongst the old Negro class that had money, the ones who stemmed from the free Negro tradition, a person was required to have a stable family and practice conventional sex behaviors, meaning with a spouse, right? Here we go. On the other hand, among the new black bourgeoisie, these values are regarded as old-fashioned virtues, and there is much confusion in thinking and behaving with reference to these values. Who is the new black bourgeoisie again? They are the descendants of those with the slave mentality, the ones that came from the shackles and the chains and developed a culture coming out of the pit, right? The people who developed a way of life from the slave environment, right? They didn't believe in those traditional morals and values that the old Negro bourgeoisie had, right? They labeled those as old-fashioned, right? So if that was old-fashioned, then what was considered the new trend with this new black bourgeoisie? Let's see. Divorces and scandals in family and sex behavior did not affect one's social status. Rather, the notoriety which one acquires in such cases adds to one's prestige. You see that? A person having family issues and having sex with all type of people.
And notice this book was released in the 50s, right? So we would think of the 50s as prudish by comparison, right? But what was going on in the 50s was extraordinary based on even more traditional values of even a further yesteryear.
This didn't present any problems, right? It didn't lower one's status. In fact, it raised it up. And remember that this book was published in 1957. And so this gives a very important key in understanding how the blacks ended up with the dominant value system that most of them have today, right? And it's a key to understanding your way while you're wandering on the path and trying to find your way, right? Let's continue. The change in attitudes towards the old-fashioned bourgeoisie values is due largely to the fact that the new bourgeoisie is recruited from those elements in the Negro population among whom these virtues never existed, and that money has become the chief requirement for social acceptance. You see that? These values and morals were never learned in the slave environment and developed in the slave culture. It's not like humans naturally understand that they should have conventional sex standards, right? Humans, when they're left to their own devices, they naturally want to do just like other animals do, and that's mate with minimal restrictions. Understand? Conventional sex behavior, that's a cultural approach that's designed to tame the animal instinct within the human, right? And it's something that has to be taught, conditioned, and also upheld through expectations of the people and of the community. And so this was not the culture of the slaves. And so when they were set free, their offspring came into the rest of the society with a particular set of values that shaped the way that they interacted with the new environment that they found themselves in. And so as certain members from this group began to earn more money, they began to reinforce their inherited values on the rest of the black community. Now watch this. Among the professional classes in the Negro community, actors and entertainers are relatively numerous and have the largest incomes.
And another quick note, right? The marriage rate at this point was still extraordinarily high, right? Even greater than white people at this time, right? So they had a higher marriage rate. Keep that in mind. And in 60, I think it was 65, when was that the Moynihan report? Out of wedlock birth rate was what, 25%? I mean, which jives with people breeding more recklessly. But think about that. That is only a third of what it is today, because now it's at 70%.
Uh-oh, here we go. The actors and entertainers, who very often have a lower class background in the social hierarchy of the Negro community, exercise a far greater influence upon the morals and manners in the Negro community than actors and entertainers in the white community. And so these actors and entertainers were from the lowest class of the Negroes, or they were blacks that were the furthest down in the pit. And in terms of today, they would be equivalent to the blacks that are coming from the inner city projects, right? The ones who become rappers, athletes, and entertainers. And they have much more influence on that community than what those types of people have in a community like the white community, or the Indian American community, or the Vietnamese American community, or the Chinese American community. And they typically bring a set of values with them that keep that community going round and round in this never ending cycle, right? And having people wondering what's wrong with those people, right? And they're also funded by many of the white folks. And both of them together, right, they eat lunch off of that community and suck the energy all out of that community, suck it dry, right? And they're
Now, also consider, right, black doctors existed at this time, right? This is a time of segregation, so everything you did was with a black person. Black people had black dentists, they had black doctors, they had black handymen, whatever they needed. It was like a parallel society. So it wasn't that there weren't any black doctors. I mean, I think Meharry Medical College started in the 1800s. Or you had medical colleges starting in the 1800s for black people, right? After Reconstruction. So you had these people in the environment, right? And they had a locked-in kind of set of customers, right? Because of segregation. So the fact that they had this undue influence, the entertainers did, it is not because they had a lack of other people to look up to, right?
they're the ones that are highly influential to the youth, right? Just as they were in the 1950s when this book was written. Let's continue. Their prestige is owing partly to the glamour of their personalities, but more especially to their financial success, which is due to their support by the white world. That's what we just talked about right here. They're funding it, and both of them together are eating off of that community, right? And it keeps that community, because it keeps projecting those type of values, those type of morals in that community, and those type of deeds and actions in that community, and it keeps them suppressed while groups of them keep eating and coming up, right? And they're working together collectively, eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner off of that community, and that community stays down because they don't have the right values, morals, and the right culture to climb out of it, right? But they're working in their hand in hand. Let's continue. The black bourgeoisie is also being recruited from the successful underworld Negroes who have gained their money from gambling, prostitution, bootlegging, and the numbers, right? It's coming from all the people whose home resides down in the underworld, right? Today, you can add the drug dealers to that list as well. Let's continue. The old upper class in the Negro community erected an impenetrable barrier between themselves and Negroes who represented the sporting and criminal world. And why did they do that? So their offspring wouldn't be infected with those types of values, and they wouldn't be influenced by those types of people. That's why separation is a very powerful tool when it's used for the right reason, right? It's a foolish thing to think that you can unite all people in all areas of life. It just doesn't work that way. Sometimes the best thing to do is just to separate from people, just like this older upper class of blacks did. Let's continue. Since such Negroes were generally able to unite all people in all areas of life, it just doesn't work that way. Sometimes the best thing to do is just to separate from people, just like this older upper class of blacks did. Let's continue. Since such, right? It's a foolish thing to think that you can unite all people in all areas of life. It just doesn't work that way. Sometimes the best thing to do is just to separate from people, just like this older upper class of blacks did. Let's continue. Reason, right? It's a foolish thing to think that you can unite all people in all areas of life. It just doesn't work that way. Sometimes the best thing to do is just to separate from people, just like this older upper class of blacks did. Let's continue. Since such.
What do you mean, Auntie? But isn't it about clout and validation from white society? What do you mean? Please elaborate.
Negroes were generally able to handle more money than the majority of Negroes. With the emergence of the new black bourgeoisie, the standards of consumption, which the sporting and criminal elements are able to maintain, have become the measure of success among the black middle class. The standards which they set are emulated by Negroes in the professional classes, doctors, dentists, and lawyers, and even teachers, as far as they are able to do so. But more important still, in order to secure the money necessary to maintain these standards, Negro professional men engage in the same rackets as the successful Negroes in the underworld. Consequently, among the black bourgeoisie, an expensive automobile, a palatial residence, and a yacht bring more recognition to a doctor than some achievements in medicine. And is that still true today in that community? And will it still be true in the next 70 years? Think about it. At the summer resort where the black bourgeoisie gathered to display their wealth, the descendants of the old respectable family.
Now, this sounds like a little haterade. Of course, doctor, and then, look, of course, a doctor is going to live in a nicer house, yada, yada, yada. That's true for everybody, right? And back in the 50s, doctors weren't that rich. You understand? Doctors were more like what you would consider middle class, right? You get to take a vacation in the summer and you go to, they used to have lodges. They used to have these kind of like what you would consider low end today, right? You go to some town with a lake that has a pool and, you stay there for a week. They'll have some sort of dance, something like that. So what would be considered low end today? And that was what your upper class had, right? So, the gap between rich and poor was much, much closer at this time.
Families must defer to the underworld elements who, through their money, have risen to the top of Negro society. That's who has risen to the top of the black community. The lower class underworld Negroes who brought certain values with them that they inherited from the pits of slavery, right? They took over the head of the black community, and it is they who have the largest influence within that community. So I want you to think about that. Having abandoned their social heritage and being rejected by the white world, the black bourgeoisie have an intense feeling of inferiority, constantly seeking various forms of recognition and place great value upon status symbols in order to compensate for their inferiority complex.
That is bars. That is bars. Because you have a lot of black middle class people who are constantly trying to stoke racial tension, right? Even the guy on my, I knew I forget his name, darn it, in my intro, the chemist, he was part of, the black bourgeoisie who were part of the riots in 68. And, that this is super true, right? They have an inferiority complex against whites. And so they keep speaking as if they're low-class blacks who are oppressed, right? They validate that and intensify it. And it's pitiful. It is truly pitiful. All right, let's see this, Auntie. Majority of black people at this time were masses from slavery class and slavery ethics and morality. I can imagine some of that dysfunctional culture stems from trying to get as far away as possible from white society while it's wanting to be accepted and validated by whites. Let me read that again. All right, but it isn't about clout and validation from white society. The majority of black people at this time were the masses from the slavery class. Yes, slavery ethics and morality. I can imagine some of the dysfunctional culture stems from trying to get as far away from white society while it's trying to be accepted and validated by whites. You know what? I don't think upwardly mobile people really cared. That is the wanting the acceptance and validation is a special kind of thing, right? John Ogbu, his book about the test scores in Cleveland Heights, basically the black kids weren't scoring as high as the white kids, so they tried to find out why not, and basically it turned out they just weren't doing the work, right? What we already know, the homework gap. They didn't have the same study habits. They didn't spend the same amount of time studying. And, that to me, right, is the inferiority complex, because the achievement gap exists at all levels, right? At all levels, at all income levels, right? Rich blacks have kids that score better on the SAT score than poor blacks. But at the same time, they will still have the income gap. Sorry, not income gap, but achievement gap, the lower test scores all around. So the black people that aren't actually, you know what? I think you're right. I think the black people that don't have that are the subgroup. I don't think that's the majority. And Sir Tice, It was either Shaker Heights or Cleveland Heights, somewhere around there. One of those suburbs. It was like a nice suburb in the 80s. And let's see, black people in America were given a discount, born out of prolonged slavery, having made these people feel on par with their white counterparts, but I think the majority of those. All right, I'll get back to that later. Let's continue.
Right? Thinking that material possessions were going to gain them some recognition in the world, and that's just not the case, right? Material things, they're just material things. And that's how we need to look at them, right? They're just material things. And all the material things do enhance our comfort in the physical world. Obtaining them should never be placed in priority above the intangible possessions that come from within, right? Things like understanding, respect, peace, originality, integrity, sincerity, and empathy, right? And so I want you to think about this. And I want you to think about this entire lesson as you continue on your journey moving into the free world. And so I want to thank you for watching all the way into the end. My name is Brooklyn St. Michael, and I'll see you in the free world.
All right. Okay. Hey, what's up, Shaka? Sir Tice, Paul Gam, I see you. Jenny, welcome. Free Zone, Lou. And who else came in? Hermes, I see you, brother. And Hood Conservative, what's up? So let's see. But yeah, I do not think I'm going to add something to that. That book cuts out in the 1950s, but I do not think that is the source. That's not what happened, right? What happened is in civil rights, right? Where are the banners? All right, in civil rights, the civil rights movement basically stripped away the American identity of black people and replaced it with this anti-white persona, right? And then what really did it, right? What added to that is the subsidization of degenerate culture, right? And it all fell apart pretty quickly. Once you started subsidizing degeneracy, I mean, it was like a runaway roller coaster of bad outcomes. I mean, and there's really no way around that. The chart of federal spending on the war on poverty, right? And the marriage rate, I mean, they overlap. So yeah, so this is at a time, right, when black women were more likely to be married, right? And once you started giving people income, right, for their bad habits, what happened to the marriage rate? Right? It's part of the culture. Now, this was available, and people say, oh, they finally figured out how to get us. Well, I mean, they gave it to everybody, man. Once the unemployment rate went down for white men, so the marriage rate went up. All right. For black people, the opposite happened. Once you added more free money, this is what happened. I mean, so what made them poor blacks the face of black culture? I mean, over time, it was steadily eroded. I mean, you had, Bill Cosby gave his pound cake. When was that? I think that was before the Cosby Show, if I'm not mistaken. Help me out, Sir Tice. But I'm pretty sure that his pound cake speech was before the Cosby Show. But the Cosby Show seems antiquated now. That was actually part of, an effort to get people basically to act right. You had just people wilding. You had this was during, actually, dang, that's the thing of it. This was during the crack era, towards and went on until the tail end of it. But, it was 2004 after the Cosby Show. Really? I thought it was earlier. Okay. Well, I mean, you look at it, right? He was reviled for that. An exhortation to live a better life, right? To be a better person. And they told him, hell no. He started taking flack. He's like, oh, just bootstraps, this, that, and the other. It's like, come on, man. You can't even say black people should do better without, without being derided, right? Hey, thanks, Machismo. So, that is, how did it become the face? Basically, it just continued to grow. And the other part is, the biggest bone I have to pick is with middle-class black people that should know better, right? Because they would legitimize it too. And that's why that particular part of it was bars. Let me go back and see that, darn it. That insecurity complex among middle-class blacks, in which they would sit there and support and make excuses for degenerate behavior, was killer. You're taking people away from that. You should be telling people that, hey, come do what I've done. Get married, finish high school, then have kids. It's very simple. Nope, they want to legitimize this victim behavior, which, I mean, it's over at that point. I don't know what else you're going to do. I don't know how you're going to, get around that. I don't know how culturally. And now, it is to the point where multimillionaires like LeBron James have to bow to black culture and portray black people as victims. That is how you maintain your validity within black culture. Heck, even Byron Allen, Byron Allen was derided for years, man. He was the guy who had a white wife, who was rich, who didn't care nothing about the community, and da-da-da. And then he goes and what did he buy? I think he bought the Griot, and he did some award show and did the same thing. America's so unfair, yada, 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 this and that. It's like, bro, I don't know how is a group supposed to move forward and get better when the dominant message is, oh, you just can't, it's not possible. I don't know how you get around that. So but anywho, so where are we at? Let me. So we're going to do some quick hitters here. Here we go.
Success is unifying. Excellence is unifying. That's who we are as Americans. That's who we've always been. To those of you watching this at home tonight, I'd like to deliver a message that the media doesn't want you to hear from the Republican Party. Our message to Black Americans is this. The media has tried to convince you for decades that Republicans don't care about your communities, but we do. We want for you what we want for every American: safe neighborhoods, clean streets, good jobs, a better life for your children, and a justice system that treats everyone equally, regardless of your skin color and regardless of your political beliefs.
See, now that is such BS, right? Because they don't really care and they can't do anything to change it, right? Though, I mean, it's political season, of course, but the real problem is you can't have a safe community if your homicide clearance rate is like 6%. You can't. You can't have a safe community when the culture is no snitching. You can't have a safe community when you elect Kim Foxx and she won't prosecute anybody. I mean, it's good for the it's good for the stage, but in reality, you know, voting Republican is not as powerful as changing your address.
Our message to every legal immigrant in this country is this: you're like my parents. You deserve the opportunity to secure a better life for your children in America. But our message to illegal immigrants is also this: we will return you to your country of origin, not because you're all bad people, but because you broke the law. And the United States of America was founded on the rule of law. Our message to millennials, speaking as one myself: yes, it's true. Our government sold us a false bill of goods with the Iraq War and the 2008 financial crisis, loading up our national debt that falls on our generation's shoulders, telling us that if we took out college loans, we'd somehow get a head start on the American dream, when it hasn't worked out that way. But we can't just be cynical about our country, because the United States of America is still the last best hope that we have, and we deserve a better.
And here's the thing, man. Look, that's all well and good, but until a politician says, you know what, we need to end the federal student loan guarantees because you've poisoned the market and people are going to be affected by that. There's a reason people will rack up $50,000 in student loans and never graduate, because it's easy. So, you know, you gotta act like an adult. You know, you gotta act like an adult.
Class of politician, one who actually tells us the truth, even if it comes with some mean tweets from time to time.
Now, you're gonna need more than mean tweets. You know, the vast majority of the federal budget is transfer payments. So people need to come to grips with that first and foremost, in my opinion.
And our message to Gen Z is this: you're going to be the generation that actually saves this country. You want to be a rebel? You want to be a hippie? You want to stick it to the man? Show up on your college campus and try calling yourself a conservative. Say you want to get married, have kids, teach them to believe in God and pledge allegiance to their country. Because you know what? Fear has been infectious in this country, but courage can be contagious too. That too is what it means to be an American. And you know what? If you're at home and you disagree with everything I just said, our message to you is this: we will still defend to the death your right to say it, because that is who we are as Americans. We are the country where we can disagree like hell and still get together at the dinner table at the end of it. That is the America I know. That is the America we miss.
You know, I gotta say, I'd be far more likely to vote for Dave Ramaswamy. Just saying. Oh, okay. Now we're going to get around to winning the culture war. All right. So, you know, people are peeing in their pants over people getting canceled because they said they wished Trump had been shot or so forth and so on. But like I was talking to Hood on Twitter, you know, it tells you who's in it to win it and who isn't. All right. So many responses along the lines of, let me read this. So many responses along the lines of, I don't care if there's cancel culture. The left does it to us, so we should give them a taste of their own medicine. Thanks for revealing your lack of principled objection to cancel culture and that your real motivation is tribal. Well, yes. Yes, it is. Because one tribe has to win. Right? One tribe has to win. So the idea, you know, there are a lot of quislings on the right who thought that winning would look like some high-minded objection that people would glom onto and say, gosh, you know what? You're right. All you had to have was the right argument. And now I see the error of my ways. And let's do all this another way. That is not how it works. Somebody's got to lose. Right? A shared moral culture comes after, right? Comes after a reckoning. So, I mean, that's how that works. I mean, you know, it might not be pretty, but you know, if you're unwilling to win the culture war, then why get involved? So, here's another one. So I've been seeing mutuals arguing about doxing people and messing with them in real life over their political views, and I can understand the instinct to recoil from that. Then I think about how all these people were wishing death on those who didn't get the vaccine or didn't wear the masks everywhere. I think of how these people have gotten so comfortable posting publicly online under their own names about how much they hate conservatives and anyone they consider right wing, about how the right wing people are fascists who should be locked up or eliminated. When I remember that these people are totally comfortable being awful publicly and not even hiding it, that they've been happy to destroy people for saying things they don't like, I just can't find any of that sympathy for them or others seem to have. There's an old expression about getting a taste of your own medicine, and sometimes that teaches a valuable lesson. Listen, like I said, it's got to be one. You know, the culture war's got to be won. So it's going to get worse from here. So just prepare for it. Oh, and here's another one. So yeah, Gigabase Dad, this is, very Christian oriented. And he said, if you make 60K and your wife makes 40K, your total household income is 60K and not 100K. If you understand this math, you will always have peace in your home. I said, what? Right? It's true. That is the problem. A muckraker at a Christian conference should ask, what do you do if your wife is rebellious, and wait for the collective gasp? Because, it's not like I'd ask that. It's not like I'd go to a Christian men's conference and ask that question, but maybe somebody would. All right. Maybe somebody would. Okay. Now that bar from the other video about the inferiority complex. Here we go.
That's why I am with it. I don't know where you are with it. Black women hold almost 1/3 of nursing assistant jobs.
Oh, wait, sorry, I didn't set this up right. All right, so black jobs exist. Economic segregation is real. And, when you have to keep making up new phrases, right, and the actual racism becomes more and more ethereal, and your evidence of such an unjust America is, they'll call you the N-word in this state. It's just like the South. It's like, really? I mean, my people lived through the civil rights era. So, I'm used to a fire hose in the face and a German Shepherd on the ass as being evidence of ill treatment. But, apparently if you can assert that this particular area is just rife with people slinging the N-word at you. And, that accounts for the position of the majority of blacks today. Is like, come on, man.
What is a black job? What is, I don't know. Is this a black job? This is me getting ready for my black job. Gender, racial, ethnic compositions of U.S. occupations with the greatest number of black women 2015 to 2018. Nursing assistants. That's not even a nurse. That's the person who does the most for you, though. Changing your bed, paying all that stuff. That's what she does, and she don't make no money for it. Now, why? Is that a black job? Yes. We got personal care aides, cashiers. Come on. Now, what is a black? This is a black job. So Adolf's job. It's not even a black job. He said black job, but gosh, we got to get that disaggregation. This is what it is. Percentage that we are in the U.S. workforce versus what we do. It should not be this way. It's so.
Why should it not be this way? I mean, do you think that? How do you think the job market works? That you're going to somehow sprinkle evenly every group amongst every profession? I mean, good God, nobody in Baltimore can read.
Stupid to have a conversation where we talk about what is, right? Instead of having a conversation about how we got here. The question is not whether or not, well, what's a black job? This is my black job. What's a black job? The question is, how do we get these black jobs? How do we end up here after 400 years with jobs that don't pay a lot and cost a lot? I'm talking about cost a lot emotionally. Got to take care of somebody. People be sick, down. They clean up, they vomit, all of that, and you don't get paid no money for it. How we get here? That's the question.
What do you mean how you get here? I tell you, you got here. You got here with a 70% out of wedlock birth rate, and people like you running the school system, and black people can't read. That's how you got here.
But your academics and your PhDs, they want to play online because they're talking about themselves. It's all ego because they want to say, I don't have a black job. I work in academia. I don't have a black job. I'm an engineer. What is a black job?
See, and that's what, and here's the angst, right? They need black people who are functional and upwardly mobile to be invisible, right? There's a reason in St. George, Louisiana, right, where they want to break away from Baton Rouge, about 20% of that city is going to be black people, right? 30% of it is going to be non-white. Have you seen in media them talking to any of those people? You have not. You have not, because the answers might destroy some narratives. All right. So, and I've often said, like, if you want to make somebody uncomfortable politically, all you do is talk about class separation among black people. And it doesn't matter where they are on the spectrum. People start navel gazing, like, oh, I don't know. I don't think I want to have to confront that and think about that.
I'm an architect. What is a black job? You don't know me. You don't know my life.
And let's see another quick hitter. Oh, yeah. And this dovetails with what we had earlier, the middle class inferiority complex, right? And I don't know, Hood, what is authentic black? They can't be authentic black and be upper class? What's that mean, dude? Come on. Why can't we be authentic black? But again, this is part of the people that have to be invisible so that race hustlers can keep race hustling. All right. It's hard to race hustle with a bunch of black doctors running around. It's hard to race hustle with a bunch of black lawyers running around. Right. That's difficult. Because the obvious question is, well, why don't you do what they did? We can't have that. Cannot have that. Darn it. Link is not clicking. I don't know why. Oh, man. Let's see. I got this in my notes. Oh, yeah. There you go. The gulf between black rednecks and upper middle class blacks is already immense. It is just unacknowledged, right? Because then when they say, "Oh, why are these black jobs? What is these black jobs?" Okay, well, here's a distribution of household income, and under $50,000 is huge for black people. Why? Because they're not married. They're not getting ahead because they're not married. Right. And that's the one thing that you can't say is, well, if y'all ain't married, how do you expect to do anything or have any wealth? How's that happen? I mean, you think a bunch of single people are over here in the 200,000 plus category for black people, right? What about the 150,000 to 200,000 category? You think those people are unmarried? I mean, honestly, the unmarried number of them are probably higher than every other group, right? Just because, less black people get married, but by and large, their marriage statistics are probably on par. So, it's we can't acknowledge that black people live in the Sandy Springs, Georgia, in the nice suburb of, I think, Jackson, Clinton, Mississippi. That's 10% black people live there. Can't acknowledge that. It's got to be this. Oh, well, look at this. I'm going to live a middle class lifestyle, being a Negro wrangler, and that's really who does it. That is who does it, right? Those are like the people that run Baltimore, right? Those are the people that are making the money and reaping the most from black dysfunction, right? The mayor, all the people in his staff, right? The people that are writing for grants, getting the grants, spending the money. Those are the people who are living large off of black dysfunction, because that is big, big business. Big business. So, so big tent, right? What is up with the big tent? Because that's why we're all here, right? So, if you
Success
are
is unifying.
unaware,
Excellence is unifying. That's
let's see, Amber Rose. I was going to say Amber Heard. It's another famous Amber, but Amber Rose, right, spoke at the RNC, and everybody freaked out, right? Everybody freaked out, and everybody wanted to say, "Oh, it's the what are you doing, Matt Walsh?" and blah 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 blah. Why are you saying this? It's a big tent, no big deal. And this happened from people I did not expect it from. Right? I did not expect it from the Cartier family. I did not expect it from the Hodge twins. I did not. But here we are. Right? Here we are. All right. So yeah, Hodge twins. If we're going to win this election, it's got to be with the help of people who realize they were lied to in 2016, 2020, different backgrounds, culture, etc. If you support Trump, defend the Constitution, that's what matters. Don't act like some bitches when these new people join our side. We're going to win. What? What? And again, these are all basically just, I don't like Matt Walsh answers, right? Because here's the whole point. The whole point of shame is shame, right? I mean, they're basically throwing Hortum a lifeline. A woman can sit there and say, well, I'm not quite Amber Rose yet. I don't have a forehead tattoo, so I've got room to grow, as long as I keep my looks, I can speak at the RNC, to encourage the others, right? But we can't even encourage the others because we're putting known whores with active OnlyFans speaking at the RNC because they figured out Trump isn't a racist. Anthony Brian Logan, you don't understand culture. The boomer generation won't be here much longer. We are tired of seeing elderly faces in politics. You have to reach out to the younger crowd. ... With whores, apparently. Apparently, the only way to reach a younger crowd is with whores. Whitley Yates. Whether you like it or not, Amber Rose's speech was authentic, and her message resonates with everyday people. Matt, this is the RNC, not an altar call. We need to be recruiting people, talking to them on their level, not wagging a finger. Who are you recruiting? Who exactly are you recruiting with Amber Rose? That's what I got to know, because I didn't see anybody go, we got to get the baby mama vote. We got to get the OnlyFans vote. We got to get the dinner whoring vote. That can really tip the scales in Wisconsin. What? It's just this blanket statement. Anyway, so let's see. And what did I have to say? Let me bring up my tweet real quick. Hey, and like the stream. Y'all in here like the stream. Like the stream. Like the stream. So let's play this video.
Like this.
So this is how you big tent.
Have you ever wondered why all conservative women look the same? Like this. 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 This shit. And when it's brunette, it's the same thing, just brunette.
look the same. Where? I love to be the one to bust your bubble. We conservative women come from different backgrounds. We come in different shapes.
So you get the point, right? Amber Rose was not a necessity in order to embiggen the tent, right? This is just, I don't like Matt Walsh, so I'm gonna throw a fit, right? Because this is what you want to see, right? Yeah, there we go. Forehead tattoo. Yeah. Big tent, guys. Big tent. That's what you got to do.
Satanists are just
Not.
no. I'm an atheist for sure.
Not a Satanist.
I'm not a Satanist. No.
And there is a distinction.
Satanists are just they're atheists as well, but they're just more political.
Okay.
They have like it's actually a very rational, logical religion. They help a lot of people, a lot of women to get abortions.
Not.
No,
Yeah. So, look, man, that whole thing is garbage, man. Are we as a culture discouraging whoredom? Now, I could go back and look at ABL and all these other people's Twitters and search for drag shows. I bet you they're all against that, right? But somehow this is cool just because they don't like Matt Walsh. It's really it's short-sighted, and my response to ABL, you don't understand the culture, shape it instead. One of the great successes of the Victorian era was they civilized those slobs, right? The Victorian era was, we have a prescription for morals in society and we are going to impose them on everybody. Amen. All right. Amen. Good. I mean, who is the Amber Rose demo? Is that what you want? Is the Amber Rose demo going to vote? Oh, look, love her. This is the vote you're getting, folks. I mean, you're either anti-baby mamaism or you're not. And from a 50,000 foot level, like what is happening in America is, we are rewriting the rules for the next 80 to 100 years, right? So what is happening is we are going to, in the next 10 years, define what we're going to do for the next 80. And I don't know, let me see, who's familiar with this book? Let me see. It's called The Fourth Turning. And I suggest reading it. I very much suggest reading it. Oh, darn, that's a bad picture. I suggest reading it. And it is The Fourth Turning, right? The cycles of history tell us about America's next rendezvous with destiny. And if you look at America, about every 80 years, we go through a new period, right? Reconstruction to into World War II, 80 years. From 80 years on from the end of World War II, 1945 is going to be 2025, right? What we had happen with Obama's presidency, but no one seemed to get the memo. A lot of stuff was going to change. Hence, after Obama is out of office, people have been putting the pedal down as far as trying to continue post civil rights, post 1970s welfare programs, race politics, right? They're trying to continue that into the next 80. And I'm not for that. Tell you that right now. I have no interest in continuing that because it doesn't work, right? We've got from the 1970s when they started these programs until today, and we know they don't work. Matter of fact, they knew they didn't work in the 70s. So if you are looking for more government money, you are, if you know these facts, you are willfully lying to yourself, or you're just ignorant. Because even if you just have common sense, all you have to do is look at, hey, if any of these programs helped. Because now black people are standing at a 70% out of wedlock birth rate. So tell me what's helping. You know? Tell me what's helping. Because it isn't any of that trash. So yeah, so that's what's going on. That's what we're doing. Right? So influencing the culture is, certain things to be turned back, right? Things that were forced on us can be, you already can see Second Amendment restrictions, right? With SCOTUS is turning back a lot of that. Gay marriage is probably on the chopping block. And we need structural edifices have to be torn down. Federal student loan guarantees. Something's got to be done. Social Security, something's got to be done. The welfare state, something's got to be done. Because you aren't just going to keep promoting this, without any consequences. We can see it, man. You have to stop subsidizing births by the underclass, because you have to deal with that. Let's see, where is Hood had this the other day. Where is it? Where is it? You're gonna have to appeal to a higher level of authority. You're gonna have to appeal to that. Oh man, this is terrible, bro. Hood server to play this the other day. Like Gen Alpha, like something's got to be done culturally, because Gen Alpha is toast. You understand? They can't speak English, right? They don't know how to participate in Western society, a large segment of them. And here's how it worked. Look, when you had George Floyd and America said, hey, let's not over police and yada, yada, let's not police black men. Here's what happened. You let the 24, 25, 26-year-olds influence the teenagers. And then the teenagers influence the 10, 11, 12-year-olds, the tweens. So now these kids are in puberty, full-fledged criminals. And for a lot of these kids, you can't turn it around, because they can't even speak English, right? Not in a way in where they can form a complex idea, put that into English, transmit that complex idea to another person, that then they can understand it. They speak in me, they speak in slang, everything. If you showed them Shakespeare and told them it was Romanian, they probably would leave you, right? Because they can't read a paragraph and tell you what it's about. So it is important that Amber Rose not be on the stage. It is important that you promote better outcomes at all times, because you're either gonna teach them to use a hammer to frame a house, or they're gonna spend time with a hammer turning big rocks into little rocks.
Well, I'm like, why he stopped chasing you and started chasing me? He had that bitch on my face. There wasn't nowhere else for me to go, dumbass. He's so shitty. I ain't gonna think he's shitty for that. And he left me. I opened the door. He left. And then like, how the fuck did he go past that pole? I want to slip. That's why I need to be the driver on the homies. I should have sent you in on the homies. On the homies. Oh no, I don't know where they were, but I see you run that way.
Bro, these kids will probably never hold a normal job. They'll probably never fill out a tax return. Man, cooked. And this is a lot of kids. So, America's going to have to do something, right? I mean, and really the most benevolent thing you could do is deport as many people as you possibly can and let them start over in chicken plucking plants in like the middle of nowhere, Iowa, because this is not, we are not in a, there's very, 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 very few places that low IQ people can work, right? There is very few. I mean, the factory work that, you know, somebody with a low IQ can do, has access to, you know, is limited. I mean, heck, you know, I had some relatives who were developmentally disabled and they went to a workshop and they just put like plastic ends on pipe fittings, you know, for packaging, right, before they went to Home Depot. I mean, that's what it's going to come to. You know, a not insignificant of people are going to have to start back over in the fields. You know, you're going to have to start over picking strawberries just so you know how to get up and be at work on time. And then that you can receive a paycheck and that you know what FICA is, right? That you can fill out a 1040 EZ. I mean, that's where you, that is how far back you have to go, because this culture here is anti-Western culture. These kids will grow up to eat you. I mean, it just is what it is.
You can slam on the niggas like, I ain't gonna fake it. When you put that shot in my face, I ain't gonna fake it. I don't know what to say after that. He talk about a fucking move on the nigga. I did not fucking.
Bro, this is like summer camp. This is like summer camp. This is crazy. And, you know, and it's across all, it looks different for other groups, but it's across the board, right? Other groups have, every group has the highest amount of out of wedlock births that they have had. And it's only going in one direction. So, you know, there has to be, something has to change. So the people who are saying, oh, you know, we need a big tent, shut up. We need a correctly steered tent. Smarty Pants, I have not. I have not. I visited the website. I looked at it and I was looking for something concise. And it's like, you got to click through a bunch of stuff. I'm like, you know, it's a Heritage Foundation. I need bullet points. I don't want to dig through your website for a bunch of stuff. And that's the way they designed it. So you have to click through it and they get more clicks and this, that, and the other. Yeah, I couldn't stand it. So, so yeah, something's got to be done, right? Something's got to be done about this tent. The tent has to be steered. You can't just, you know, hope it's going to go okay, that you're going to cross your fingers and hope it is. You know, these black leaders, right? The leaders of these black cities, you know, if they want to maintain their position, they are going to have to be the ones to enforce this. You know, I already don't live there. I already don't live there. I already can't wait to go to my local meeting and say, I don't want affordable housing here. All right. I do not want affordable housing. No, thank you. You know, while they're making noise about gun violence, which is, you know, gun violence is just code for saying we'll ignore the actual problems and we'll make it about something else. You understand? So, you know, the leaders of, I'm not being authentically black. No, authentically black, I guess, doesn't like actual solutions. You know, authentically black talks about the white man. What is that, Auntie? By who, what? Come on. Give me a sentence. So, where? But yeah, man, it's crazy. Man, I swear it is a cop out, man. Gun violence is a cop out. Let's make it harder for everyone else to have a gun, as if these people are going to fix themselves. Maybe no, I'm a classist. SKC, get it right. I'm a classist. I'm not an elitist, right? What I believe in is socioeconomic mobility via education and promoting family values. Right? I don't think that's elitist. Now, you say there's no incentive for Black leaders to do what's in the interest of Black people. I agree with you, Auntie. I agree with you. What I also think is we are reaching an inflection point in which the nation is tired of throwing money at Black leaders, all to have them say, well, we just need more money. I think the time is fast approaching in which Black leaders will be incentivized to produce results instead of sticking their hand out. Because like St. George, Louisiana, people are moving away. All right. Like this, let me find this. Here it is. So, like this chart shows, right? Even Black people are leaving. All right. Some parts of Chicago saw half of the Black population disappear. Right. So what's making these neighborhoods even worse is that middle-class Blacks are like deuces. Black flight is currently underway to a large degree everywhere. And what's going to happen is they're going to get replaced by Latinos. And they are, if they don't, right? If they don't fix it, they're going to get replaced by Latinos, period. Period. Like a lot of these areas, the Black people are leaving, and who's moving in? Right? That Walmart that closed in Chicago was in Inglewood. Right? They destroyed it, they rebuilt it, they destroyed it again, and they closed it. That building will be a supermercado in short order. Right? What are you on your phone? You on your phone, Auntie? So I read the sentence. There's no incentive for Black leaders to do what's in the interest of Black people. Let's see. Melanated politicians are in for themselves like everyone else. They don't care about the community, people in general. They do the job for the check, not to make positive changes. Now, here's the thing, Auntie. Here's the thing. If you go to different areas, I believe what you're saying, but the culture of the area in which these people are elected makes a difference. Right? People don't lose their jobs in Baltimore if they can't read. Teachers don't lose their jobs. The mayor doesn't lose their jobs. They don't replace the school board. The kids just can't read, and everybody throws their arms up. If a suburb all of a sudden produced Baltimore-like reading scores, everybody's getting fired. Everybody's getting fired. That's why it doesn't happen. You understand? In Atlanta, you can have a superintendent of schools literally cheat children out of their education by faking test scores. And when caught, the NAACP will say, oh, it's racism that you're prosecuting this person. Instead of saying, why in the hell were you cheating your own people out of an education? Why? Because they can. But I know, right? Politicians will do what is in their best interest to stay in office. And if you flip the switch from you either get results or you don't get money, they will figure out a way to get results. They will figure out a way to take the ne'er-do-wells out of their school system. They will figure out a way to get parents to make sure their children are in school so they can get this money. Right? They will. Trust me. They will do whatever you want. Matter of fact, George Bush tried to push amnesty back in, when was it? 2006, I think it was, basically after the midterms of his second term. And the nation melted the phone lines after that, right? Because I tried to call, right? It took me 3 days to get through to call my representatives, calling the DC switchboard. And you know what happened after that? They had some nice high profile immigration raids. So People act like, well, they'll never do this, they'll never do that. You just aren't applying enough pressure, right? Because the culture matters. So if you want to do something that works, right? We already know what works. Family. Family would graduate high school, get married, then have kids. That's it. So, I think that's where we're at. They teaching the wrong stuff. SKC. Yeah, they do. That they do. But yeah, I think we're at a point where you're kind of out of excuses, and I don't think that you're going to be able to hide functional Black people much longer. Because at some point you can see the stress fractures in the environment, and you see that from Black people, because there are Black people in these cities who in Baltimore, Memphis, New Orleans, who are like, hey man, I'm trying to help, but I gotta save myself, because Black flight is happening, and more Black flight happens, then Latinos move in, then they replace you, and what was left of Black polity will be gone. It will be gone. To give an example, here, here's your girl, Maxine Waters. And she is representative for the 43rd Congressional District since 1991. And so her district is 57% Hispanic. Right? When she dies, I'm not showing it to you. Maxine Waters, let me go back. Famous idiot in Congress. Her district is 57% Hispanic. The next person that is elected in this district will not be a Black woman. I can tell you that much. So, yeah, that's my thing. I just think the incentives change, and people need to get out of their feelings when promoting a better culture. If you literally think marrying is white culture, then you're an idiot. And matter of fact, if you see middle-class Blacks claiming marriage won't help you, they are the enemy of progress. Literally, they are the enemy of progress, and their views will lead to more of this.
On a dead exude, running with your hands, I'm still getting busy on this house. You see me? You see my phone in the car? My phone in the car.
Right. Functional Blacks can't be hidden anymore because we have social media. Social media means we can put our own narratives, not just ones approved by whites. Hey, those messages are also approved by Blacks. So, that's all I got. What time is it? 3:00? How long have we been going? Hour and a half. Hey, nah, I'm not doing a panel. I got things to do. But I mean, that's where we're at. That is where we're at. I don't know, SKC. I don't know what else I got, man. I do have another essay written, though. Yeah, and I get you, Lion, right? Right, I totally get that, but that is not going to change until you change it, right? It's all part of the same pogrom, right? That's why I said earlier in the stream, I gave my opinion on. I think I gave my opinion. Did I show that? Let me see. Let me make sure I showed that. I remember done a bunch of things. Sorry, guys. Let me look for this real quick. It's Pearl. Yeah, man. Yeah, look at this trash. See, this is what's wrong, man. This is what I mean.
The speech that made the most headlines during day one of the RNC came from someone named Amber Rose, someone I had never heard of before. Until seriously, I mentioned this to someone that said, "Oh yeah, Michael, you never."
That was one thing I thought, man. They have no idea. The people cheering have no idea who Amber Rose is. I mean, some of them probably didn't even know that was a tattoo on her head.
Heard, and apparently this gal did some sort of saucy things, but no, I had actually never heard of this woman before, and she was invited to speak at the RNC. I guess she's got something of a colorful background, and she's espoused views that are quite naughty and done things that are quite naughty. But before you pass judgment, just listen to her speech.
My entire family is.
So listen, man, saucy stuff, saucy, colorful background. These men are pathetic. I mean, literally pathetic. I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you that it's just. Oh, here's another one. So here's this, Jane. How far we have fallen. In the 80s and 90s, Al Bundy was considered fat and poor. Let that sink in. So show his body. Hey, he'd be slim by today's standards, and he'd be rich having a house this big. Obvious, right? So then somewhere between 1959 and 2024, things went terribly wrong. Obviously, John Wayne and whatever that is. And my answer is you let women vote, you gave them birth control, and you handed over the education system to them as well. So my point to what Lion was saying is that everything's got to be reformed. And you have to be honest about what the problems are. So it all kind of works hand in hand, right? Because that's what we're doing. That is the ebb and flow. We're in the fourth turning, right? We're creating the America we want. So all these people who are, having a problem with people getting canceled for saying, darn it, they missed. Well, too bad. Some people want to actually win. Some people want to leave their children something worth inheriting. You know what I'm saying? Some people want to. So, Pro makes me want to sign up for Twitter. Yeah, man, she is funny, man, because she targets the female ego. That's the thing. He's like, what are these chicks up to? So the link is in the chat. I guess we can panel for a little bit, just for a little. So, see if you're going to come up. Yes, I would. Sir Tice. Hello, sir. I believe you're muted.
Yeah, I was just taking my steady time and trying to click the sound off of the other YouTube. Good afternoon, salute. I wish I saw the whole entire stream, but a lot of these, a lot of your points, you've mentioned before, it was something. Let me get your take on something. It kind of deals with what you're referring to here. Your general gist, and this it's not about Amber Rose, but your general gist is that I don't want to say she should have been nowhere, but there. But that basically, why of all the speakers, her, right? and because all she's going to bring is degenerates. Was that your general gist?
Yeah, basically. And my
Okay.
also the point was people were just responding to Matt Walsh, right? They don't like Matt Walsh, so let me be anti Matt Walsh instead of saying, yeah, like a known whore with an OnlyFans stripper, maybe not the best.
Okay, I got you. Let me ask you this question. So our friend, 1 second. One of my computers I had to log back into. Our good friend, our good friend, Dr. Umar, has made the news again, right? But and I don't know if you've heard this or not, but apparently, I guess he did a Breakfast Club show or something like that. And on the Breakfast Club, I can't watch this guy anymore. But I want to get your take and the audience's take on this. Apparently, he said something about regarding about Black boy literacy, right? And how bad it is, because we've never talked about this, even amongst each other, right? This has never been an issue that we've raised. It's a serious issue, right? You there?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we talk about it all the time.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I'm being, So,
right, I get you.
Yes, broken clock. Because my thing with Umar, and I'm not making this about Umar, but it's going to tie into the point. My thing with Umar is Umar can tell me that red light means stop and green means go, and yellow means caution, and I'll be like, I don't want to hear anything you got to say until you settle up things with that school, right? That's my take, because I believe as men we have to be about action. Doesn't matter if it's that. So another person who I was in a little bit of a dust up debate, he's like, yeah, I know how y'all feel about Umar, but he right here. And I said, dude, we've been talking about the literacy rate for years. So what you're saying, he said, it doesn't matter, man. The message is what's more important. And if he's got to do it, if Jesse's got to do it, if whatever does it, has to get out there. I said, okay. So you're kind of telling on yourself here. What you're basically saying is that you need for others to take care of the problem. And you prefer that those with notoriety speak on things versus each individual. These parents know that their kids can't read. So, if they look at that, they don't need a figure. I guess where I was trying to weave this into things, it's like we've become so dependent. We have to look on the outside to take care of the things that are, personal to us, if that makes sense. So give me your thoughts, and maybe I'm not articulating it right. I'm loading it up so I can, I'm loading this up so I can actually refreshen my memory on this. If you give me a second.
Okay.
If you just give me a quick second, I'm here. I'm pretty sure that's SKC beneath me.
Yes, sir. SKC,
Yeah.
how are you?
I'm doing all right, man. Y'all got me up out of bed.
Okay.
I was
Hey,
chilling.
SKC, I found it. Okay. Hey, by the way, let's see. You mind if I share free?
No, go ahead.
All right, hold on. Let me enlarge the font, the Fontity font. Hold on. Let's see. Present arms. Or March. Share screen. Let me close my porn real quick.
Come on, man.
We got to bring some humor into these, right? So I'm sharing, I think. Okay, so our friend Bobby Drake says, SKC, should I read it at community or just read it? What do you think, SKC?
How about in your best Amber Rose?
I can't do that one. Yeah, we can pick anything else but that one. Oh, okay, let's try it. You can say what you want to say about Dr. Umar. I can testify firsthand that everything coming out of his mouth is facts. No print, no email, no snail mail, just facts. I challenge everyone who's a parent on here that reads this or will have young relatives with them this summer. If their reading levels are on point, 25% of their recreational time be spent in a book. If they are on grade level, 50% of their time should be spent in books. Take your kids to the bookstore. Find reading programs and reading camps that you can enroll them in. If you need resources, get at me. I'm more than willing to help. Now, it's not what you think, guys. So good old Sir Tice comes in, and I say, respectfully, we don't need Umar to tell us this. We know from looking at statistics how poor literacy rates are. Yet sadly, it's not a top issue for many, and I base that off of culture, not the schools. Umar has no credibility outside of the stands and social media that don't see through him yet. By the way, I can say this is a past donor of his mythical school.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
gonna prove that to you guys too, whatever, if you give me a second.
Yeah,
So
it's just-
nope, I don't have my government information on my chest. So he goes, what's the voice now I should use? SKC. Oh, come on, SKC. You're usually quick-witted with this.
Hey man, you have at it. It's your thing.
Okay, all right.
Well, however the spirit leads.
Okay, seeing as it's still an issue, I say we need Umar, Kwame, Darius, Jordan, Michael, Thomas, and anybody else who can spare the time, because it's still a thing, and the thing is still a problem. Many of us are perfectly fine with complaining about the outcomes. By the way, that was a low-key shot or whatever, right? You know, for people like you, community anthropologists, anthropology, USKC, you know, y'all don't do nothing but talk about problem, right? But that was low-key shade right there. I'll reread. Many of us are perfectly fine with complaining about the outcomes and the issue later down the line, but aren't equally concerned about how we get there, which is this. It's all hands on deck situation. Umar has hands. He has a voice. Let that man cook. My turn.
See,
No. Let's. Okay,
right.
No. You go. This is your channel. My bad. You go.
Yeah, man. I was just gonna say if you're not building a family, then you're not doing anything.
Okay.
Like if you're not building a family, you're not promoting a family, you are not promoting family values. I mean, you're not.
What about teaching?
You're not.
What about teaching men tech skills? Don't I count on something?
No, yeah, of course, man, of course. But you can still. The foundation is families, right? Whether you are personally married and having kids, but if that is not something that you promote, and we're talking, we need all hands on deck, yada yada yada. All that, I mean, I've heard all that, right? I'm 50. I've heard this since the 80s. I heard it in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. So these guys need to just, there's no honesty in the root causes.
Now,
right? There's no honesty.
This has been going on since this morning. And this is what I mean about people who talk nonsense. You know, this doesn't even have any likes or participation on it. Granted, I guarantee you. Well, I'll say this: I guarantee you, if it was a story about, you know, something entertainment, you know what, you know, the response to Rick Ross's beat down in Canada, there'd probably be 100 million likes or whatever. But hey, we gotta teach the kids to read. But let's get into it. He said, "Let that man cook." I said, that's the problem. He doesn't cook enough, as he eats too much takeout, as evidenced by his physique. You know, I got to get my cheap shots in. That said, you're under the impression that folks need leaders and they can't think for themselves. Being vocal about something doesn't mean anything, despite how good it looks. Secondly, there are plenty of men out there trying to teach this and willing without all the fanfare. The issue is, like I mentioned earlier, is cultural. Take your kids to the bookstore. I said, now, see, I was trying to give them some props. This is where I totally agree with you. This is where I totally agree with you and in concert, in sync with you on. We don't need to hear from social media frauds with checkered past for this. Now, I'll see and raise your comment with Umar. I said, I'll see your comment with Umar and show you where he stole a lot of his rhetoric from. This is part of why I say it's cultural. Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu addressed this 30 years ago and offered solutions. And it's a link to Jawanza Kunjufu's I don't know if you're familiar with this, but it's either to be black or I'm sorry, to be popular or to be smart. SKC, I'm positive you've seen this before. You've seen some iteration of it. And he was
we
basically,
know.
yeah, okay, yeah. So I don't have to explain it, but yeah. So I guess my point in just bringing that up, and as it ties to your theme today, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop sharing. What up, Free Zone? I didn't even see you. So
What
yeah,
up? What
Free
up,
Zone,
man?
Free Zone.
What's good,
Welcome to the
fellas?
party.
I literally came up here just to be a part of Sir Tice's narration. That yeah, that's crazy.
Man, why you trying to hate on my why you trying to hate on my alliteration? You just you don't want to
Like-
see nobody progress. That's why you hating on Bronny, because you ain't him. But no,
But you see, but this is why people troll, because like, what type of logic could you add to that? Like, what could you what could you say to that person to make him be like, yo, you know what? You right, man. We shouldn't be doing this. Like he's
real talk. Freeman made a good point.
he's just gonna be.
No, Freeman made a good point I wanted to expand on. And SKC, I believe you made this well into the 2010s. How long have we been hearing this black bullshit? We need to get, you think they're going to change till we own the businesses or whatever. No, we need financial literacy. Or listen, either just do it or shut up. But stop all this dumb, lame-ass shaming tactics online, which I think is even worse. It's as worse as chicks going into their modeling studio, I meant well-lit bathroom, taking selfies and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just... Go ahead.
Tice, I actually want to hear more.
I'm saying,
and I'm serious, because right now is it's a pivotal moment. And I've been seeing people who, I guess their response to, I guess, the changing of the guard, as it were, is been illuminating. And you have some people who are in a state of disbelief. I heard this guy, he was like, there was almost a bit of emotionality in his voice. You could almost kind of feel the bottom lip quiver. He was like, I don't believe the polls. I was like, wow, this is.
I need a translation again, SKC. Can you say that again? I didn't understand Cooney's.
Oh, well, the guy was saying that he doesn't believe the polls because he.
I got you. Yeah. Oh, believe. I'm sorry, SKC. Can I do it? Can I say it?
Sure.
I don't believe the poll. Go ahead.
Yeah. It was interesting, and then you have people that are tripling and doubling down. Freeman, I don't know if you saw Joy Reid in her latest.
No.
Hold on a second.
How she stated that she doesn't even believe that that Trump has been shot. and she's like, where are the FOIAs at? Why are the media getting us the medical information to substantiate this claim? And and she starts giggling and laughing and stuff. I mean, it's amazing to watch,
bro. It's
comical.
Weird, man. It's clown world.
They're looking for that. They're looking for that gnome, that lawn gnome. In the distance, the second shooter.
See, it is this intense. It is this intense desire to hold on to power and hold on to the same political dynamic. You know what I mean? Like all the race hustlers are like, we can't let it change, because what happens to them?
Freeman and Freezo, there's a clip I'll send you, but imagine this, just to set it up right. 3 grown black men sitting there talking about this situation and the way that they cope with it all is. Did you see how they came at Nancy Pelosi's husband? 3 grown black men.
What? Where is this?
Jesus.
Where is hey man, you can't make this shit up. You cannot make this up.
Yeah, they was making fun of Nancy Pelosi's husband when that man came in here with that hammer. That's violence.
Oh my God, you can't. You gotta be kidding me.
Do you watch TikTok to get this stupidity or something, SKC? Because I
No,
couldn't tolerate it.
no. You're not gonna throw me in this, Tyson.
You gotta post a link.
All I'm gonna say is that is within the sphere.
I need a link. SKC.
Yeah.
I need
Couple blocks over. Yeah, it's a couple blocks over. We still within city limits, Sir Tice.
Listen, free zone between you and what SKC has found or whatever. Listen, I don't really need proof. Y'all have shown me more than enough of things that I'm like, they said that. I'll never forget when old boy had said that learning and education or going to school is like taking it up the butt. You remember that free zone? And I'm like,
yeah, they say wild stuff over here, man.
About 20 years from now, Sir Tice. Yeah, I imagine that these people are gonna be like in their maybe mid 60s or late 60s, and you're gonna hear them talking, and they're gonna be talking to their children. Yeah. It was a real bad racist man in my day. It was some white nationalists, and he called them good people on both sides.
That's a good one.
That story is branded into their brain, and it will never be changed. You can only add things to it. He rode through the road on a white horse, slaughtering black people in front of their eyes, and they still voted for him. I mean, yeah, why?
That used to be the crazy uncle you stayed away from at family functions. That used to be. I don't think it's that anymore.
Man, these guys. It's
Joy Reese said that Biden should be recognized as a hero for beating COVID.
Woo, man, Freeman.
Oh, yo.
If you haven't seen that clip, that is one clip that you should play.
Hold up. Did Hoop send you this? Hold a second. I see before you play this. You gotta stop laughing because you're making me laugh now. No, real talk. Did Hoop send you this, Freeman?
No.
We're about to watch? Okay,
no.
Hoop sent something to Sub and I'm like, I thought that this was staged and fake, like, because this is how they get their SKC, one of these words you hate, whatever. This is how they get their clout, or how they get their clicks. But I don't want to give it away. This is absolutely effing insane. And even though SKC doesn't, I won't say that or whatever in the chat, but I'll say this: they should have never given social media. I swear to God, they should have never. Go ahead, man.
It's the prime directive.
It's in the car, Dayon. Bro. Bro, just pull over and put your hands up, bro. My baby is in the car, Dayon. Bro, my baby is in here, bro. Bro, Dayon, just pull over. Let us out, bro.
Fuck, cause these bitch ass snooping niggas,
Bro, just let us out, bro. Let us out.
Oh, I'm not even supposed to be in this shit right now.
Bro, let us out, Dayon. Dayon, let us out, bro.
It's over with.
Dayon, let us the fuck out. Bro, no, I'm not relaxing when you got my baby in the car. They got guns pointed to the car. They about to hit the car, bro. You're not thinking about your baby right now. You finna get our baby too,
bro. They gonna smoke me.
You already did it the first time, bro. Don't do this shit again, bro.
Well, I love y'all. Never gonna see y'all again.
Bro, we love you more, bro. You is gonna see us again, but you gotta pull over, bro. You have to, bro. Pull over with your hands in the air, Dayan.
Bro, it's over with.
Bro, Dayan, pull over. Bro, Dayan, pull over, Dayan. You don't give a shit about your baby, bro. You
Dude,
serious?
I love both of y'all.
Then pull the
What do you think I live for?
Bro, you finna get us fucking killed, bro. They got guns pointed to the car, bro.
Oh my god.
Pull over, let us out.
For some shit that I
Bro,
didn't
let us
do.
out. Don't fucking matter who the fuck did it. Let me the fuck out with my fucking baby. I'm not gonna keep telling you, bro. Pull the fuck over and run. That's your best fucking day, bro. You not gonna put my baby in danger. I'm sorry, I love you, but you not gonna do that shit, bro. I don't care.
Give me another bottle of water.
Bro, it ain't no fucking water.
It's in the bag. I put 2.
Bro, get out, bro. Bro,
Bro, I promise I'm not gonna do nothing but y'all.
bro, yeah, you look at what the fuck you doing. You talking about you not gonna put us in danger. The last thing you do is should be on fucking live. The fuck? And you sit here on live like this is a fucking game for you, bro. I'm fucking game for you.
Cooked, bro. Cooked. There. Listen, there is a class of people.
No, wait a minute. It's not done. Hold on a second. It's not done. Or is it done? You got the hold on. I'm gonna send you the full version. 1 second. Can you put
the full version?
Hold on a second. Can you put something from your phone to, or do I have to email it? What's the best way? Because I got
Just
hoops.
put it in the private chat.
Well, no. I'm on my computer right now, and hold on. You know what? Never mind, SKC. I mean, Friedman. I got the link. I think I got the source to the link. Yeah, I got the source. Hold on a second.
Man, when I saw this,
let's watch this in the meantime.
Man,
these two men are both elderly. Donald Trump is an elderly man who, for whatever reason, was given 9 seconds to take a iconic photo op during an active shooter situation. Weird situation.
You notice that they know how good the photo op looks.
Right.
Like they know it. They know it instinctively, like a small animal, right? Him throwing his fist up in the air is iconic, right? There was who's that guy? Hassan Piker, right? He was doing a stream and Trump throws his fist up. He's like, oh no, he went up 2 points in Wisconsin. Oh no, he went up 3 points in Minnesota. No, like they understand how it looks, right?
Stephen A said, you can't pay enough money for that photo.
Right, you can't. I don't know what halo God has put around this man, but there is no way. I mean, there is no way. And when you look at the details of it and how they saw the dude get up on the building. Right? They saw the dude get up in the building. They saw him set up. Other people are saying, hey, everybody's like, hey, the guy's right there. Right? And he still is able to take a shot and nix his ear. You got to be kidding me. You understand? 2024 is so ridiculous. If you told the story of 2024, you went back in time and you told that to someone from 1950, you would end up in a mental institution. They would put you in a mental institution immediately. Like, there's no way that's true. Come on,
photo,
guy. You need some rest. Come on, guy.
That
right,
photo, listen, I don't like cheap photo ops or things like that. That shit had that shit was like fucking I hate my military knowledge is bad, but you know when they're running up in World War II, trying to trying to plant the military the American flag, the D-Day picture, parade, the dude kissing his girlfriend, the picture of Jesse. Oh, I'm sorry. The picture of them, Jesse Jackson and them pointing at, where they thought the shots came from MLK's deletion. That picture alone was crazy. Now, and like you said, they know because they're all about optics and things like that. I gave you the link, by the way, in the back chat, so you can see.
I got it queued up.
Okay.
Let's finish this video real quick.
Okay, cool.
situation. We'll figure that out one day. But his survival of that and bouncing right back and going right to his convention is being conveyed in the media world as a sign of strength. This current president of the United States is 81 years old and has COVID. Should he be fine in a couple of days, doesn't that convey exactly the same thing? That he's strong enough, older than Trump, to have gotten something that used to really be fatal to people his age. So if he does fine out of it and comes back and is able to do rallies, isn't that exactly?
Look at her. Look at her face. She's like, excuse me.
It's like, I'm not gonna fuck with this one. She's like, you know, I might be on the left. This is wild. She's like,
He's like, I think you got the wrong batch of Kool-Aid, Joy. Mine wasn't that strong.
Hey, I want to give some credit. Hey, yo, Todd City, what's good? Free Zone played your video today of you and Let Go. That shit was wild, man. I got to give you credits for like calling some of his nonsense out. That was a good interview by you. I'll give credit where it's due. But yeah, back to her. She's just like, yeah, I'm not for this. You know,
they're the same, Friedman.
Look at her. Look at her.
Comes back and
excuse me. Oh my god! And see, look, this is the end. This is the end of the political beat-up. Like all of these black women on these left-wing shows, bro. It is coming to an end.
I want to see more.
Man, it's bro. It's you're not going to see it. It's coming to an end. You're
no. I want Joy Reid to be the black female. I want her to do her version of what's his name?
Roland Martin.
Roland Martin.
No, Alex Jones.
Alex Jones. Dude, that's where they're all going to end up. They're all going to end up on the Griot or in some podcast or on. They're going to have like the former. They're going to be their own network, right? Of black people that got kicked off of left-wing talk shows. They're going to have their own sphere, right?
I want Tiffany Cross because even though she too is crazy, she at least was attractive or whatever. It's going to be Tiffany Cross. They can bring Roland. Definitely bring Joy Reid along, and please bring in that crybaby ass Van Jones.
Oh boy, he'll be shedding tears weekly.
It is able to do rallies. Isn't that exactly the same? I mean, it's not exactly the same. It's not an incident, but it's an elderly man
Look at her selling
coming
it.
through out of an illness.
It should.
Same thing. That he's strong enough, older than Trump, to have gotten something that used to really be fatal to people his age. So if he does fine out of it and comes back at his
Like you got the full strength Kool-Aid. Yeah, Mark Lamont Hill too. That's right. Yeah, they'll all be in the same little club talking about how everything's racist, and they'll all be off the air. That's what's gonna happen.
Man,
I can't wait to be there for that YouTube page. I'm ready for that Roundtree discussion.
I would be subscribed to that show every day, man. Joy Reid, Roland Martin, Mark Lamont Hill, JaVale Hill. Oh man,
it would be insane.
The Avengers.
Whoopi.
That's it.
Ooh,
look,
man.
I'm not trying to be.
I would give Joy Reid a gold mohawk. Oh man.
A cool.
All right, man. All right.
Lord have mercy.
But yeah, they're trying to sell it, and it's not working. Nobody's buying it. Nobody's buying it.
That is how Governor Newsom describes the situation.
Sorry.
Hey, Friedman, listen. In that video you showed where I gave you the long version, hey man, okay, SKC, you might have to go on mute with you're not. No, we want to hear the laugh. before you play this, just scroll on this comment. Scroll on Busy Balboa's comment. It's near the top.
Wait. Hold on. Let me read this one. If we weren't so afraid of cops killing us, this wouldn't be a problem. This young man was scared for his life. If it wasn't for the baby, he would have been killed, and we all know this. That's like, bro.
He didn't do nothing. He was trying to run from the system.
What happens when you program a bunch of people with 75 IQs that cops are out to kill them?
Okay. He didn't use the baby as a shield to show them they was a bully in the car, so they wouldn't just start shooting like they usually do. He was wrong for this in the first place, though. Nonsense. Another one. I applaud him for his bravery. He was scared, but you can tell that he truly does love his family. Just a horrible situation. I'm not making these up, people.
Wait, what?
That would be a Grown Woman 5000. Let's see if Grown Woman 5000 is a real woman. Yep. Okay, Grown Woman 5. Well, no. She kind of looks like a.
Can you tell though?
I'm at the top. I'm at the very top. So you've gone down.
Here we go.
You'll find another dumb one.
How y'all meet these dudes and procreate with them?
Ding. That must
welfare.
Be my
welfare. I mean, if they didn't have welfare, they would stop doing this. I can guarantee you. Big Mama got to raise one of these nappy-headed little kids by herself without Uncle Sam's money. That's it. That is it.
But
anyway,
let it play so you can see the whole thing, though.
Bro, just pull over and put your hands up, bro. My baby is in the car, Dayon. Bro, my baby is in here, bro. Bro, Dayon, just pull over.
I understand.
Let us out, bro.
Fuck, cause these bitch ass snooping niggas,
Bro, just let us out, bro. Let us out.
Bro, I'm not even supposed to be in this shit right now.
Bro, let us out, Dayon. Dayon, let us out, bro.
It's over with.
Dayon, let us the fuck out.
Cannot imagine, but it appears to be, we'll see here, we'll have a really clear view here in a second. That appears to be a small infant.
Well, bro, okay. This dude held up the baby as a
I knew you would like this SKC.
shield. You oh my god, man.
I knew you liked this SKC. That's
so I know the space like frowns on hard R's, but wouldn't this apply? Like if there's ever a time. Right? Like
hold on.
Well, either way,
Well, pause real quick.
is stepping out of the vehicle.
When did this happen?
I'll get the details in a second. I want to go back into comment mode, so if you don't mind,
Because you know what a certain group of political entities were saying. They're like, please let it be a white cop. Please shoot. Please shoot.
You know, sad thing is that is true.
Well, I'm going to read in between the comments. Those are even better. But one, Quayne says, I cried so bad just now. I feel sorry for these young men. They need help and guidance, I swear. And then another person follows up. 1 second. Another person follows up and says, they need jobs and morals too. I know things happen, but once you reach a certain age, we know it right from wrong. Well, she is partially right. And with the way that we devalue our lives, we have to do our best to walk the straight and narrow. I totally agree with you. I cried as well. Yes. Oh, no.
There is somebody in the back seat. There is somebody in the back seat. The passenger has now opened up the driver's side door in the back seat. You just can't believe that person has just led the LA County Sheriff's Department on a wild and dangerous pursuit in the middle of rush hour with a baby in that vehicle and other people inside of that car. This is just incredible. and hopefully he cooperates from here on out. This is just incredible.
Yeah, these are surprises. We're often surprised on what gets out of these vehicles at the end of pursuit, and it goes to show you never know. And that's why they always have to handle it where they have to be prepared for any possibility. This is one of those pursuits where the unexpected is happening from one moment to the next.
That's right. Right. I mean, look at this. This is giving me so much agita, guys. They cannot see his hands. Is he reaching for a baby or is he reaching for a gun?
It looks like he was hugging the person in the hugging the person in the back
no
seat.
idea.
It puts them in such a precarious situation.
This is the worst. This is the worst situation I can imagine in this scenario.
Oh my goodness.
Midnight basketball and free healthcare would have
How
prevented
they can
this.
approach this. If it does suddenly turn violent, they have a really almost impossible situation to deal with, knowing that there is an infant child that is in harm's way.
Here comes the person in the back seat with the baby.
Here comes a woman out of the back seat with child. Driver stepping out of the vehicle, and now, this is not what they. This is not what they want to see here. This is not what they want to see. This is
Come together, family.
You gotta pause. I told you this was gold.
Okay, now shoot him.
See the woman coming toward those officers with child. Whether she was a willing participant or not, they will figure it out very quickly. They're going to take custody of the child temporarily because obviously somebody's being charged with child endangerment. But finally, it is up to the suspect to just give up peacefully at this point, now that the baby is out of the picture. But this is about as tense as it gets, guys.
I went to pick up his jacket. I don't want it to get dirty. Need to take this with me where I'm going.
Stressful to watch, and keep in mind that the car is not clear. We don't know what else is in that car, and
that's right.
We've been surprised before, and that's what they're going to handle it as well.
He's still holding his jacket.
This suspect, and then they'll check the vehicle. But this is going in the right direction, Chris.
There is so much training that comes into play in a situation like this. They drill for this all the time, and this is a perfectly executed felony stop here. After a wild chase that has come to a relatively peaceful end, these deputies faced with so many life or death decisions as they try and just wrap this up, and they're going to continue to treat this very carefully until they know for sure, as you mentioned, David, that vehicle is completely cleared. But look at that. A dangerous driver involved in a robbery of some sort. You see the woman being placed into handcuffs until they figure out what her participation level was, and that innocent baby now in the custody of the LA County Sheriff's Department as they attempt to clear that vehicle. And you can see they have.
Oh, they said LA County? Oh, dude, that dude's out. Dude's out if he's not already out in the street right now.
Just when you think we've seen every pursuit imaginable, you get a new surprise. That's incredible.
Practice selfie, bro. Pull over, bro.
Okay, so this is in LA, I saw or just heard. Dude, he's probably already out in the bell, walking the streets, living off this social media clout that he's got from this. But these comments, man, are wild. I may read one more. We got to give to the people. I saw something in your chat. Let's see. Oh my God. Do you want to hear the ridiculous one or the funny one? I'll just. It was more they killing us kind of said. Okay, check it out. It's sad that Black people have to face an instant death sentence in the streets over the slightest things because of trigger happy race soldiers. Did Tariq write this one? I got you.
When are you going to be able to lead police on a citywide high speed chase, and still live to tell the tale?
Yeah, tell us again. They are being prosecuted now. What are you talking about? Who gives a damn about what law is on the books? I only care about what's being enforced. They literally found 100 dead Black remains near a law enforcement facility. Did you guys hear that story? I forgot where. Oh yeah, I guess facts don't matter. I forgot where, but it's nowhere. But it's somewhere in the South. The point is, they charging anybody for anything. Trump don't scare us. What they gonna do, they are already doing. I don't know how that disjointed comment came here or whatever, or came.
Has nothing to do with the video whatsoever, huh?
I know, right, bro? Right? I mean, I'm like, hold a second. Out of all the things he did to try to stay alive, his worst mistake was moving funny when he. Never mind this one. You know what's funny, gentlemen? it's kind of like Amber, not Amber Rose, like that one dumb chick who from Harlem who's claiming that Amanda Seals, like Amanda Seals now is a ballistics expert, and then in these comment sections, oh man, these people are very knowledgeable of police procedures and detainment, not because they've probably been or whatever. It's because, they've gone through the whole book. It kills me how people who barely read at a 5th grade level, and yes, I'm talking greasy and shit. It kills me how people barely read at a 5th grade level are suddenly these experts in all of these things, legalese or whatever. It's crazy, But when you ask them for specifics, like you said, I don't know where it was. Well, damn, isn't Google a tab away even on the phone?
They don't. Fairy tales don't need explanations, right? Community mythology would be ruined by facts. So let me move on to this. Let me ask you some, SKC. Does this mean that Gavin Newsom is running?
Situation right now in the city of Oakland. He traveled here today to announce the moves the state is making to help the city. KTVU's Tom Vakar live tonight with the latest from Governor Newsom. Tom.
Well, that move is more troops, but it did come with some rebukes. Governor Newsom called reporters to an Oakland towing yard to announce that he's increasing the deployment of CHP officers in Oakland, doing all manner of police work in Oakland and the East Bay.
Patrolling Oakland's hotspots, including some of the ones on Broadway, Hagenberger area, multi-agency sideshow, street racing operations, combating vehicle theft, recovering stolen cargo containers at the Port of Oakland, tackling fencing operations at Oakland flea markets, and combating commercial vehicle violations in or about Oakland.
So far, the CHP has recovered 1,142 stolen cars, arrested 562 suspects, and seized 55 crime-linked guns. Now, even more CHP police power in Oakland.
We're going to move the California Highway Patrol.
Oh, and just, did you hear that? They talked about containers from the port. So basically, containers are being stolen from Oakland ports.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, ports are highly secured areas. It's not like there's always a fence around it. There's always multiple checkpoints. But apparently, crime is so bad, they're getting into that.
Yeah, but crime is down.
Shifts that they're currently operating in Oakland, we're going to increase that fourfold. We're going to have 162 shifts starting next week. We're going to focus over the course of the next 4 months.
To assure that those caught are really held accountable, the governor sent a notice to Alameda County District Attorney Pamela Price that the state's attorneys he offered to assist the DA will be brought back into the Attorney General's office.
Yes, we've been disappointed.
So who's the face of incompetence?
Uh-oh.
The lack of engagement with the DA's office. And so we're moving forward. Rather than complaining about it, rather than lamenting about it, we're going to be moving some of the prosecution to the state of California, the Attorney General's office. So we needed just to pull the plug at this stage and do something that we know will work with the AG's office.
At a Thursday afternoon press conference, District Attorney Pamela Price said this.
I cannot speak to the governor's disappointment. As I say, I'm disappointed that the governor did not reach out to me directly, and I'm disappointed that the governor did not acknowledge the efforts that our office is making.
State attorneys will prosecute Oakland cases that are complex and time-consuming. As to beleaguered Oakland Mayor Sheng Tao, Newsom says she was cooperative with the CHP coming to Oakland, but the timing of his assistance will end just before the November recall election.
We can't be here forever. We're here for the next 4 months, and we'll see what happens in the next 4 months. But we said we were firm in our commitment. We weren't going to walk away.
Mayor Tao issued this statement of gratitude to Governor Newsom for the new resources. She said, after years of rising crime rates, we are seeing a steady decrease, and we know that this is in part because of the strong partnership between the Oakland Police Department and the California Highway Patrol. Whatever happened, that offer of help from the attorney.
So, Mayor baby mama.
It cuts every group, man. They managed to find an Asian baby mama to run the city. All the competent Asians in California, they were like, no, not you. The baby mama who is extraordinarily corrupt. Come on in. Man, matter of fact, she faced a recall. She faced a recall before she even got sworn into office. Right? Sheng Tao. And now she got raided by the FBI. That is how do they find that much incompetence?
Her lawyer, as soon as the FBI did the raid, her lawyer resigned.
Right? Like
That's hilarious.
I can't be part of this.
Yeah, but SKC, Trump got raided too. No, I'm just
And
giving you
so
the logic. I just give you
little background on your
6 tonight, a
prosecutor.
major development in the effort to recall Alameda County District Attorney Pamela Price. The county is now confirming it has enough signatures on the recall petitions that are valid to put the recall on the upcoming ballot. Last month, Save Alameda for Everyone submitted over 123,000 signatures to the county. The Alameda County Registrar of Voters confirms tonight that more than the necessary 73,000 needed to move the recall effort forward are valid. They said they will certify the results of the board at the Board of Supervisors meeting on April 30th.
Yeah, she doesn't know why the governor is displeased. Doesn't know why the governor is displeased. Come on, man. She stopped prosecuting everybody and fired a bunch of prosecutors. That's why no one gets charged with anything.
I beg your pardon in referring to our the Democratic soon to be representative for president as the governor, sir. So don't call him by his correct name.
Well, I don't know, man. All of a sudden he's tough on crime. So who knows? Right?
Yeah, that is interesting.
Real SKC, let me get this in real quick. I'm gonna forget it. If you got to look up this interview with Adam Carolla and Gavin Newsom, man.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
This shit was. I mean, when he, when Adam Carolla talks or whatever, and he goes, oh, he's just a complete windbag. And I'm trying to think of what Gavin Newsom had said. It was something about check cashing places basically being in the hood. And Adam Carolla was like, well, why can't they get bank accounts? Well, it's not just a black thing, but you just said it's a black thing, It probably is, So yeah, that was yup, Clue. You remember that?
Yeah, Newsom. I thought he and I heard that he and Elon was going back and forth with each other.
You mean?
Oh yeah, Elon just said he's moving out of California, but part of it is the reason they just passed that law that says teachers cannot tell parents if the child starts using pronouns, which is insane. Which, I mean, I hope that goes to SCOTUS, right? Because if that goes to SCOTUS, they're going to destroy it.
You familiar with that SKC free zone? The details of that?
I think it's like 1855.
No. So if you got an 8-year-old and they go to a teacher and say, "Yo, my name is Mark, but I really want to be Monica," the teacher doesn't have a right to report that to your parents. And then that teacher is one step for the kid to get closer to get, their nuts cut off, for lack of a better term. So, I mean, that's crazy, right? Like you have to have a parental slip or whatever and all this for a kid to even get a tattoo, even nowadays. But they can, the teacher doesn't have the right to report or at least say, hey, they need to perhaps go. I guess you can't say they go to a psychological evaluation because that would be considered some form of discrimination or such. But yeah,
because because the kid doesn't belong to you. That just because you're the parent, Tice, doesn't mean that you should know that stuff.
Damn, you're right. My bad. You're right. That's it. But I will say this. Even when I first heard of this stuff in this space, I thought they were crazy. And I looked it up. I'm like, okay, it's not going to go through, but it's in plans. But sure enough, it went through, man. And it's and they've already moved a lot of they moved Tesla out of California. It's the spacecraft thing. What is it called? Spacelift or whatever the name of it is.
SpaceX. It's in Texas. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, he's moving that. Do you know how many major companies have California just because? Well, not only because of the policy, but the taxes there are crazy. I don't know how you grew up there, dog, but maybe it wasn't like that when you were growing up. I mean, you tell me.
They've been leaving for a while for the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, last census was the first census in which the population declined, I think, ever in the state because it's done nothing but grow. So, yeah, here we go.
his companies out of California, in part because of a new first-of-its-kind law in the state. Yesterday, Governor Gavin Newsom signed a bill that will stop schools from notifying parents if a student changes their gender identity in class. The new law won't go into effect until next year, but it's already triggering everything from cheers to threats. Here's NBC Bay Area's Marianne Favreau.
The new law will stop California public schools from notifying parents if a student starts using different pronouns or identifies as a different gender than what's in school records. State Assembly member Lori Wilson welcomes the new law.
This is extremely important because, as most people know, I have a transgender son who actually was.
Who's the face? Who's got the pom poms?
I gotta use that one.
Transitioning while in high school. And although we as a family knew generally that he was struggling with his identity, we did not know that at school he was going by a different name. And it was actually a teacher who first told us.
She says she was disappointed the teacher had betrayed her child's
name. And it was actually a teacher who first told us.
She says she was disappointed the teacher had betrayed her child's trust.
It was actually a teacher who first told us.
She says she was disappointed the teacher had betrayed her child's trust. State Assembly member Christopher Ward authored the bill.
It is very invasive when you are coming out. You want to be in control of your information and not have that shared by outside actors and particularly other government actors like school officials.
But today, those who oppose the law say the state will now pay a price, including Elon Musk, who posted on X that he is moving 2 of his company's headquarters out of the state, saying because of this law and the many others that preceded it, attacking both families and companies, SpaceX will now move its headquarters from Hawthorne, California to Starbase, Texas, and then posting that X headquarters will move to Austin.
I think it's a farce to say that it had to do with this legislation. He's been planning that for a very long time. And I think that it's unfortunate that he, as an entrepreneur leader, chooses to use his platform and his voice to continue to spread hate and to be divisive.
Musk isn't the only opponent. The president of the Liberty Justice Center says his legal team now plans to fight the new law in court.
Parents absolutely have a right to know that information. Parents have a right to direct the upbringing of their children, and they don't give that right up just because they send their children to a public school.
But here at the Billy DeFrank LGBTQ Community Center in San
God,
Jose,
they got a rainbow
law
door.
so they can feel safe and protected in deciding who they want to share their gender story with. The new law is set to go into effect January 1st. In San Jose, Marianne Favreau, NBC Bay Area News.
Hey, you know when people say you can't legislate morality?
Yeah.
Of course you can. That's exactly what they're doing. They are legislating their own morality and doing it very specifically. So, yes, you can legislate your morality. And people on the right need to figure out that they better start. They better start. And look, man, I knew I was never raising my kids in California. Never.
You know something though that I kind of wonder about Freeman, because you know there's no perfect solutions and all that other stuff, but okay, Elon, I know some people he rubs them the wrong way and all of that, but it's like which one are you choosing? I don't like the way that this dude does business, or
we're gonna make your kids gay.
Yeah,
I'll take Elon.
I mean, it's weird. Yeah,
he publishes. Look,
we're gonna cut
wait,
child's
Elon
genitals
and
with puberty blockers. I'll take Elon.
Elon and who?
Newsom.
Oh God.
Yeah. I'll pick the people that aren't gonna mutilate my child. I'll take them. You know.
Yeah, I seen him versus Destiny the other day on Twitter. I was listening to it while I was working, and that it was wild.
Well, I think it was. I don't think that was Elon because I heard it. I heard it too. It's the other dude. He sounds like him, but it wasn't him.
Yo, that dude. I said dude loosely. I saw a funny.
Wait. There's an Elon impersonator walking around Twitter having debates.
No. On X, there's this guy that hosts this I guess this forum or whatever. I forget it. I think it starts with an A or something like that. But he sounds like Elon. People always get him mistaken, but it's not. Yeah.
Oh. Destiny was actually cooking them. It was actually pretty bad. But then the second guy came on and he just went off the hinge and then it went off the cliff. Destiny been going crazy lately.
Yo,
that dude, he's lost it.
Yeah, we're gonna see that dude end up in some loony bin or something. When I say dude, I mean dude very, very, very loosely or whatever, you know. I saw here. I'll move on. I don't know if you're trying to find it, Freeman, or not.
It's just a crazy time. I just seen a thing on Twitter. I guess they had a Trump rally in Wisconsin, and everybody's wearing ear bandages.
Yeah,
man,
that's insane.
Yeah.
No, I did that.
They're all sitting in the crowd wearing ear bandages in support.
Listen,
some of them wrote "fight" in the ear bandage.
Yeah, I don't condone any type of cultism, no matter what side or whatever. I saw the actual picture. It was not just one person; it was a whole entire row of people. And it's like, now one could say those could be plants, but that was just like corny and cheesy, you know.
You know what? Because when people do the whole both sides thing, and you know, I'm cool with that, but that and those like when all of those Dems wore those kufis and junk and started kneeling down, like those type of images are just ridiculous. Why in the world would you wearing like a ear bandage and stuff? Like, come on, man. That's
you're
insane.
right. And in SKC, it's not a kufi; it was a kenta cloth. And
whatever.
And how dare you say Nancy Pelosi can't wear her kenta cloth? Let me say one more before you play.
Hey, man, she was doing it for the culture.
Right? No.
All right, y'all, stop crooning. Come on now.
No, she was looking for the culture, not culture. It's culture. And
all right, y'all, clean it up. Clean it up. Clean it up.
Oh, this is a callback to earlier video of the athletes and their sexual proclivities. So a pregnant Joy Chavis, who has kids with Little Bow Wow and Future, while having a past dalliance with Diddy, announces on her IG that the father of her child, Cowboys Trayvon Diggs, has left her. This is Diggs' third kid. He has a baby with Lakers Christian Woods baby mama IG put. Oh my God.
More of the same.
Look, I'm not gonna try to
It don't
act
ever
like,
stop, man. It don't ever stop.
I'm not gonna try to act like
Now
I'm
look, and when
something.
you try to criticize it, what are they gonna say? Oh, you being an
judge
elitist.
it.
You're Cuban. Don't judge people. Blah blah blah.
You judge it. Everybody got passed. I was gonna say, look, I don't walk this, so you know, I mean, I'm not no Puritan or anything, but how these dudes, you know, it's like to be an athlete for many of them, you got to be a trick nowadays. But on top of that, you probably go to each of these chicks' Instagram pages. They probably got a million gajillion followers. You know, dudes fawning all over them, knowing that they'll never ever be in the same room with her. And that, you know, and then they're the very ones that complain about, you know, this. It's like, come on, man. Yeah, if she's got 3 baby daddies from 3, that alone. But I digress, man.
That's them. Just don't be around my kid.
A reflection of the failures of the people that came before them. That's it.
I
So
disagree.
when I said earlier, I said in a different show that I'm the man that I would want my daughter to marry. It's a reason for that. I don't make sacrifices. I don't come into this whole situation looking to apologize. I'm looking to validate. I'm looking to remove every excuse that you have from being able to not make the right decision. And you often at times make the right decision every time because you are going to be a reflection of what me and your mother put into you. That's it.
I love the thought of that mindset.
It sounds like a really
Okay,
good
question.
thing.
So you said preventative. If the conversation needs to be about preventative action to not make families that could be potentially broken and things like that, what are the preventative actions that we need to discuss?
Oh, it's very simple. It goes back to the
Stop
original
for a
marriage.
second. Stop.
We need to stop dating. Stop.
You know what? I have very mixed opinions about Anton, but I don't want to make this about the messenger. He is right on this, but what kills me is, and I wanted to see what arguments they were going to use, but I heard their first argument. How do we prevent this or how do we stop this? They're looking at it wrong. They are looking at it wrong completely, or, you know, it's culture. When you create a culture where that stuff, you know, you don't make, you know, you're embarrassed of being in situations like that. You don't even get involved with it. they're looking at it, or particularly the chicks, they look at it from a standpoint of, how do I best say this? They're looking at it from a standpoint from a physical action, if you will. What you want to lie, if you tell them you have no more sexual freedoms, they equate that with some kind of Puritan Little House on the Prairie type nonsense. Whereas no, and I know what I'm saying is probably from an idealist standpoint too, because their environments reflect everything that's a product of their that makes their choices. Did I say that correctly? Basically, they're products of their environment because they allow it to for the negative aspects. But let's see what Seeking My Creator said. The first question that my mother, was, who are your parents? Oh, good point. How are bastards treated in Asian? SKC, are you like the Asian whisperer or something? I'm very curious.
You know something that I find is interesting about and I'm not talking about Seeking My Creator or anything, but
no, Seeking My Creator is cool.
A lot of times in those old instances of where I would have interactions with different people that state that they know all about all sorts of different people from all over the world, they'll ask me questions like that, which lets me know that they have no idea how other people live or how they interact and do things, or but particularly around family creation, like they have no concept of it at all. In fact, I think some of the ideas that they have about family creation, they believe that it's too strict or overbearing or trying to be quote unquote white. And so yes, it's weird. Interestingly though, what's Freeman, JD Vance, he met his wife at Yale, right?
Yeah.
And however, it was their instructor, I forget her name, who wrote the Tiger Mom book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, who put them together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's
I'm
an
very
interesting tidbit.
Yeah, that is.
Oh,
Let's see what
and,
Anton. One second. No, one thing I just want to say this. One thing I'll give Anton this, because I don't have the patience to be in these spaces anymore. I mean, when I say these spaces, even when I'm out, and about, when people sound this stupid, I'm like, I just put my earbuds in, or they're like, you got something to say, Tice. You always do. I'm like, nope, because y'all not going to take it anyway. But it is always interesting to hear their counter arguments because they really don't have any. But let's see how this goes.
oh yeah, and I was gonna say one more thing. Oh yeah, who are your in-laws? Yeah. Yeah, if a Korean grandmother has 5 grandkids and one ends up on crack, guess how many grandkids she has?
4.
This is a question for the panel. 4. That is the correct answer. She now has 4 grandkids. The crackhead does not exist.
You see, you have 5, and if you take one finger away, then you count 1. See, it's 4. Got you.
And interesting that you state that, Friedman, because Vance, when he was giving his speech or whatever, he was talking about his grandmother, and he said that he was hanging around with the kid that used to sell drugs and everything, and his grandmother told him, "You hang around him one more time, and I'm gonna run him over with a car." And the entire audience began to, applaud and everything. Now, to some other people, they thought that they looked at that as being violent.
And they're right. They're right. It is violent.
And another group of people thought of that as preserving their kid alive and getting rid of negative influences in their lives.
Yes, with violence. So I had, that's violent. Yes, you're right. And it works. And it works. Oh, do I have it? I do not have that queued up. Darn it. Okay. So yeah, let's play this. This is kind of funny.
Experiencing a bunch of people, stop having a bunch of sex, stop putting yourself in a position to have to sacrifice.
So
It's- Stop dating. Stop experiencing a bunch of people. Stop having a bunch of sex. Stop putting yourself in a position to have to sacrifice.
So
It's-
with
it's-
stop
no, no,
dating,
no.
how do we get to marriage?
You shouldn't even be, and I talked about it.
Yeah, I asked him that.
You shouldn't be dating. You shouldn't even be opening up yourself up to all of these fears from different men in the first place.
How do you meet your husband if you don't date?
You already probably met him. He's the person that has your best interest at heart. He's the person that already was your best friend. He's the person that had your best interest. Most women
How
skip
did I
over,
meet said
most
hypothetical
women skip
person?
over the man that they were supposed to marry already. That's the key. And then y'all pick the guy that y'all want. He ruins you, and then you expect for another guy to come back and pick up the pieces for you. That's not the way to do it. We remixing what relationships are supposed to be. You ain't even supposed to be dating until
So you
get
met him
married.
at a quick trip, but you never dated him, but you were supposed to
No,
marry him.
you was raised with him. You were around him. You went to school.
You see how they rebel against the information?
That's why it's
Right.
good to listen to this shit, bruh. No, real talk, because what many people don't know, I'm going to bring some more documentation to prove this. Not like dudes really care about documentation either, but things. But the concept of dating is barely 100 years old. People don't even. I do have one of a bookmark. I'm not going to have you pull it up, but I just want to refresh my memory on something. So, in other words, people didn't necessarily, back in the 1880s, you weren't going
Actually,
to some saloon, huh?
Let me get through this.
Okay.
We'll circle back.
Go with him. Most people.
Because I'm still looking at my memory book like.
I really do like your train of thought. I just feel as if I got a couple questions. First and foremost, how old are you?
41.
Okay.
See now, the dude's about to get in his fifis, right? And he's about to try to invalidate what Anton is saying, as in, you didn't have to do what I did, type of thing, justification.
Like one. Second question: where are you from?
Detroit.
Born and raised. Strike two. When you understand the world is different in every area.
I done traveled the world.
Yeah, but at what age?
My whole life.
What age?
My whole life.
Give me your first age when you
13.
You was 13. No. Give me your first age when you experienced life as a man in a different state outside
13.
of the Midwest.
Oh,
area.
as a man? 18.
18. Where'd you go?
Ohio.
Outside the Midwest.
Outside the Florida.
Okay.
19.
19. Who are you with?
My father.
As a man, by yourself. I have to do this over with you because we can go back.
What do you
and
mean as a man
forth.
by
As a
myself?
man.
You hear that? As a man by yourself,
Right
what, we
there.
gotta do this over?
Right- Yeah,
see it?
that right there. That's some of the dumbest stuff I've ever heard. I mean, I remember so many times going different places with my dad, my grandfather, and so forth. As a kid, as an adult, what are you talking about? Why in the world would being somewhere? How would?
No, I'll help you.
This is
Well,
makes no sense.
what in
They're
the
just
frick
rebelling.
right? Does his line of questioning have to do? But let's see. I love watch. I hate to say this. I love watching people who are not anything remotely logical try to be logical. So let's enjoy.
Yep.
Let's see.
As an adult, I'm not talking about with your daddy on your side. I'm not talking about with your mother on your side. I ain't talking about your uncle, your cousin. When did you take your nutsack and run around by yourself as a man with a friend in a different place? At what
I don't
age?
know if he did that because he got
I got married
married.
at 22 years
But
old.
this is my this is what I'm
I
trying.
got married at 22. I was
Exactly.
intentional.
Bars. I got married at 22, big dog.
So
I
this,
told my
hold
wife when I met her in high
on,
school.
listen. All I'm doing is asking you a question.
I know, but I'm telling you that
Okay.
I don't put myself in a position
So what I'm
to make
what I'm trying
mistakes.
to
It's a
tell you,
difference.
but no. The difference is this: you got married at 22 years
That's
old.
right.
Hey, question for the panel. Is it that hard to reject your own mistakes, right? And then embrace corrective action? Like, how hard is it to be like, you know what, I did it wrong, but I'm going to teach my kids to do it right and not be all emotional about it, like you're feeling attacked? How hard is that?
Depends
Not
on how
hard
you
at
were
all.
raised.
Well, I was just gonna say it's not hard at all. And isn't that what you're supposed to do as a freaking parent? I'm just saying.
I think it. I think
I
it
think it's
has
harder
a
than
lot-
y'all put on it. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's what the line I was going down. Free zone. I think it is hard, particularly because of certain cultural mores that people are raised with. Take for instance, I was playing around with a thought experiment this week, and I was wondering, why are there so many people who value consistency over even sometimes being right? Because I'm pretty sure you guys have heard, well, there's somebody that's completely wrong, but they'll say, well, at least he's consistent. It's like, what? Consistently wrong is a good thing? So I think that answers directly to the whole thought about change. You have a culture of people who actually believe that being consistently wrong is quote unquote standing on, what do they say, on business or whatever it is.
Let me help you out. Standing on business.
And it could be like, whoa, you're coming across new information that could course correct your entire life, but to them that change is seen as weakness.
Well, I think it's part of the clannish nature of Black culture, right? You can't embarrass the Klan. Everything was in the Klan, nothing outside the Klan. So I think it's, if you change, then that's where, oh, you think you better than us, right? That's the immediate reaction to someone bettering themselves. Like if there was a person on the panel, who wasn't Anton, that said, yeah, you're right. They started agreeing with Anton. You know what? I got to do this, and that, right? And then what would be the conversation after that person got off the panel around their friends? Oh, you think you better than us, right? You think you're better than the Klan? You think you're better than the group, right? You're not going to shame us. I think that's part of it. But let's continue.
20 fucking years ago, bro.
Correct.
You understand the world's not saying that?
Let me tell you something.
No.
The word don't change ever. It's the same way it was yesterday as it is today. The
Not
method
true.
by which you go about being successful is the same.
So we're
You
still
can-
slaves.
listen,
I get what
I'll tell you what.
I get what you're saying.
You telling me that it don't work, right?
No, I'm not. You're not letting me tell you.
Okay, wait. I want to get back. No, let me take the conversation back to this because I had some questions. I had some stuff on my card that I want to talk about, and I want to talk about it. Okay. Now, what kind of parents are y'all? More traditional or gentle parents? Shit.
Well, intentional about being gentle. He's never gonna fail. He's not doing everything right.
Don't fail.
What is a gentle parent? I still don't understand the
Okay,
concept.
so
My life is a reflection of what I advocate for.
Okay, hold on, no, listen, no, I want to talk about gentle parenting within the Black community because I think a lot of us have this idea that gentle parenting is just
Passive
stop.
parenting, and it's
Oh,
not.
stop! Don't do that. No, gentle parenting is just me not talking to you in a disrespectful way.
I'm not going to disrespect you.
Not hitting you.
I'm not
and
gonna
things
beat
like
your
that.
ass.
I'm gonna come eye level and talk to you. I'm gonna, hey, big dog, that's not okay. We're not doing that. I'm more.
Stop for a second. Stop for a second. Okay, how does
Hey,
that
big dog, that's not okay. To your what? 8-year-old?
exact? For all the shit that the boomers get for some in this space or what have you, or those things, the shit that's happening with the kids now was nowhere near at the rate of that happening with them. So, I'm gonna fight for the boomers on that one. And they weren't always comparing, it wasn't like, and sometimes it's like, hey, go do your bleeping homework. Then you can go outside. Not, Timmy, you have assignments that are due now. I'll do it when I want, Mom. I'm sure we've all been in the grocery store with the little smart ass kid who's running the house. You know what I'm saying? And I just, these kind of parents, how has this resetting the wheel of things, or, we got to be progressive, we have to be the kids' friends. How is this working out? Now, go ahead.
Terrible.
Being a disciplinarian and not an authoritarian, is that what gentle parent? I've never understood the concept.
So it's just a little bit. It's just for me, it's taking the spankings and the physical discipline off the table.
Okay, so being a disciplinarian but not an authoritarian. Okay, got it. Okay, well then.
We traditional or we
I'm
Like
traditional.
you said, he said some
Okay.
kids need that, their ass beat. I've never experienced that. I ain't never had to beat the shit out of my kid or call him a nigga or call a little girl a little bitch or do any of that. I never needed to do any of that. My son listens to me. He does very well in school. He respects his elders. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't speak on it because I ain't never had to go toe to toe with a kid like I was trying to hurt him.
I think kids respect your energy.
I have a question.
My kids are
Yes, sir.
With these individuals that are speaking about child rearing, where are they getting their information from?
Good
Or
question.
is it just a free for all of every generation you're supposed to just reach within yourself and go on what you believe and how you feel and all of that?
I'm not being
Well,
facetious
if-
with you. You're having a
if
serious
it's-
conversation. Go ahead.
That
Go ahead, Freddie.
what you just said, SKC, that's what it is in practice. Yeah, I'm gonna meet you real quick, guys. That is what it is in practice, right? Because they are just making it up. What your mama did, this, that, and the other. If you're not coming from, a hierarchical structure, right? And a tradition, you can't help but make it up. Like I said before, I sought husbands to model myself after because my parents got divorced, so I didn't see it. So I had the literal thought process of, I don't know how to be married. I didn't see it. I need to model after somebody else, and was able to pattern myself after several different men.
Okay, Freeman, how old were you when that first began?
27.
27. So these guys probably got, what would you say the overall age is? I can't tell, but the age of
I say early 30s.
In their 30s, early 30s.
Early to
they
mid
cook,
30s.
bro. They cooked in regard to this conversation. They're so off the pale of what Anton is even talking about. They have no frame of reference for it. They're it's like it'd be like trying to convince a kid who's I don't know, man. It's like they're eating crayons in this department right now. They got helmets on. They don't have an understanding. Anton's not gonna get through to them. This is how that's gonna go.
That's where I agree with you and people like Ty City. And I don't mean to say that to you if you're still out there like that, Ty City. I'm just saying, like, you can't convince these people. So why even waste your time? But I want to add this. I find it very interesting, like the chick who was like, my son gave good grades, you know, and then, so I don't know about this. Wait a minute. Yet again, when do Black people, you know, like her, yes, I'm saying this, like her, act like they don't know something? You know, it's like they don't want, they want to act when it's not convenient for them to say it. They're like, oh, that's not my concern, hands off or whatever, right? But whenever it's anything else, they're the experts in. So, like, you can't consider another perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like, case in point, I don't agree with 90% of most of the community's points, but because I've been around it, grew up in it, you know, got family members that's a part of it, I pretty much know the thought pathology and things like that. So it's not like just because I don't do it, I'm not into it. Does that make sense? It's like they try to act like, oh, no, that doesn't concern me or whatever, or I can't see through that kind of perspective when it's convenient for them not to say it. And then also, why do people like this, their parents get A's and B's? Do we not? Okay, what does that mean? They've already lessened the curriculum in some things, you know, unless, you know, let me see what kind of school it is. Then I can evaluate those grades, but they know that grades kind of deflects criticism of sorts. So that's kind of my thoughts on that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I was muted.
I
We're
would
going to
say,
keep going.
yeah,
let's keep going real quick.
Excellent. Like, I've never had to like spank anybody. I don't even have to yell. I can look at Rosie. She gonna start crying.
But she respects.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a lot of things. A lot of people think that fear. If I put this fear into my child and they respect me, they're scared of you.
Yeah.
They're listening to you because you made them afraid. They don't respect who you are or your opinion on anything.
Yeah, no.
They're gonna do what you say in front of your face because they're afraid of you. As soon as they go out, well, you'll see.
Katie, what about you? Think you're more gentle?
You know what? I've never understood the concept of gentle parenting. I've never even tried to delve into what the concept actually was. I don't even really understand the concept of traditional parenting. I think we just parent based off of how we learned how to parent. I think it's intergenerational. I think we just take exactly.
So to what you were saying, SKC, right? They just pull in randomly from their past experiences.
What we have learned and we have brought it down. I agree with you when it comes to a blueprint because I've seen the blueprint. You know, unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't work out that way, but I do believe in that. I have had the privilege because my children have a range of ages. I've had the privilege of seeing different personalities. Like I have instilled so much in my children. I have done my work to actually fix the things I need to and instill that in my children, but they still have ways that are just isolated to them that's how they are. You know, my teenager acts one way, my middle child acts another way, my second child acts one way. And it's like, but they still have a foundation. They still have it to the core. They know how mom has parented them. They know the morals and everything else that I have instilled in them. But I don't believe in controlling a child. I believe in raising you, but I cannot control you once you get to it. Now, let me make sure I clear this up because I have young children.
See, and that is the thing I do not agree with, right? You have a responsibility to control them, right? And not just because you are putting their thumb on them. To a point you've made in past streams, SKC, is you control the environment, right? You don't have to put your thumb on them if you've provided them an environment where everybody else is a nuclear family, right? Where everybody else has the same values. When they have, their friends, their friends, their parents, and you're all of the same mindset about how to raise your children, then that is a different thing than, raising your kids in the community, and then you just got to beat the hell out of them to make sure they don't go awry, right? Which is a concept I think, I don't think a lot of Black people are of that mindset, right? They don't know it, right? Even middle class people, they don't know it. So, you got any comments, Lion?
Yeah, mic check. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, got you. I just wanted to get in on you guys before you cut it out. Yeah, I like this video. I thought it was interesting, and this right here shows the difference between them and us. This right here, this video, especially with that line of questioning, that bullshit ass line of questioning that light skinned dude was given, because I didn't know where the hell when he answered those questions, he was talking about strike one, strike two. Like, what the fuck does that supposed to mean? Like, what strikes? Yeah, he's 40 years old and he married his high school sweetheart. While majority of us don't marry our high school sweethearts, but that doesn't really give cause to go out here with, with the way people are moving nowadays now anyway.
Yep, correct.
But yeah, to answer your question, you did ask a question, and you were asking, like, is it hard to, what was your question?
Oh, is it that hard to check your own mistakes and then adjust course so you can raise your child in a better way so that they don't make the same mistakes?
I would think it's hard but necessary. But the first thing is, do they even know they made a mistake?
Yeah.
Do you even realize that you made a mistake in the first place? Because a lot of people, so I think, because what's the name? Somebody was saying that something about being consistently wrong. I'm like, yeah, they can be consistently wrong if they don't even know they're wrong.
Well, I think that's why when I would just say another part of the conversation that people, they don't add into the conversation when they speak about generational wealth. Other things come along with that. There's generational belief systems that are passed down, morals, the ways of handling things such as child rearing and so forth. All of those things are passed down as well.
I think people just say general wealth just because it's trendy to say.
Yeah, and I think to a certain degree, I think that they believe that money solves all these problems when it doesn't.
No, not without discipline.
Right, SKC, you meant getting the bag solves all problems. You have to speak like your audience. I'm joking.
Oh yeah, you getting to the money, getting to the bag.
Right. You know what? I don't know what your name is at the top, bro, but thanks for joining. I can't see your name at least. I can't stand how trendy things are now, and like even from our political discourse to how we talk about things to how somebody's got some background, but. It's like I see 45, 50-year-olds talking about how lit something is. And I'm like, shut your dumb ass the fuck up and stop sounding like you're a teenage.
Yeah, I can't stand that shit because the problem is we run shit into the ground to the point that's the problem with trends. They run it into the ground. And I never liked the word lit. I can't stand that shit.
Right.
My mom has used that word and I looked at her like she was stupid.
Yeah,
so I can't stand it either.
I definitely use it.
You can explore as far as I'll allow you to go based off of safety reasons. Like I will allow you to explore and figure out who you are. Absolutely. But I don't believe in just confining.
Hey, I got to say that is completely derelict parenting. I will let you explore and find out who you are. What does that even mean?
It means they don't know what they're doing.
You're going to let them go out and have the opportunity to make the same mistakes you did instead of teaching them in a way where they make none of the mistakes you did. Like none of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, here comes all that here comes all that new age, I'm spiritual bullshit. No, they're gonna have to feel on their own anyway. So you want to let them solve the problem? No, stop. Oh my God. These people are so, it's like on one hand, they want to be taken as seriously, but they just come off as so pretentious in their explanations. Go ahead.
My kids are being so sheltered or being really overprotective with them. Like, I need you to see the reality of the world. I need you to understand those things. But I also don't believe like I have to beat morals and ethics into my children. I've never believed in that. But I do believe in discipline. I will take things away from you if I need to.
Oh,
if
absolutely.
you disrespect the household, because I've had to do that with my teenagers a lot. I got one who's just a wild child. I've had to do a number of things. I will take this away. If I'm working my hardest to give you a great life, to give you something that's worth even you pursuing, at least you can do is respect that. Just at least respect that. And it's not just, I don't say because I'm a parent or because I'm your mother. I just want you to see that these things are possible. So if I see that you're possibly on a road to failure because you are making so many mistakes, then I am going to intervene as a parent, and I will take disciplinary actions if I have to. I'm not going to beat you, but I'm going to pull some things.
You notice something, Freeman?
Did she not just contradict herself?
With the exception of Anton, nobody else on that panel stated anything about being an example to their children so far as behavior.
I'll do you one better. You notice how none of them talked about being a wife.
And
they just talked about being a single mother, but not a wife.
And the only reason I bring that up is because the children are children. They're going to look at example before words. People can say all this stuff about reading whatever and being academic and all of that, but if your kids don't see you involved in any of that stuff, it's going to be very difficult for them to follow that lead.
It's a hard sell.
Oh, very much so. I mean, and you know what, SKC, to your point, culture is almost involuntary, right? How does a little girl learn how to be a wife? She sees her mother and father interact, right? She sees her father say something that her mother might not necessarily like, but she will do, right? She sees a woman actually submit, right? And she also sees two people work together. She also sees two people work things out, right? Or just even something simple as a mother and father planning a day trip. They understand, oh, that's how two people work together. Oh, I can do that too. Right?
And then assigning them little roles and responsibilities of being part of it all.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet that the altercations that these parents have with their kids are kids pointing out things that don't make sense, and they're not having a rational reason why they do it. Because I've seen it, where it's like, you don't read, mom, and look how you turned out. Girl, go to your room. Like, shit like that.
Right. Exactly.
And I've seen it with dads too.
Oh, I do. Oh, they just bad. They bad because of why?
Yeah.
Oh, they talk crazy. Do you talk crazy?
Yeah.
Are they disrespectful? Are you disrespectful to them?
Or it's guidance instead of, it's not guidance, it's criticism. You critiquing your child instead of guiding, you know what I'm saying? Because the critiquing is taken away from their you know what I'm saying, their self-esteem.
Right,
absolutely. You take away from their self-esteem, now they don't want to open up to you at all.
And they won't.
You know the beautiful part
The
of
negative
conversation?
criticism.
Yeah, negative criticism. You better teach your child.
I mean,
They're gonna be 34, gotta figure it out.
I'm saying,
but you know the
just break
beautiful
it
part
down
of the
to
conversation.
Oh, real quick on the parenting tip. Making your child competent makes them confident. Right? That whole guidance or criticism or whatever, making your child competent makes them confident, because kids will sort themselves, right? Kids know, right? If they got their little spelling test and your kid got 20 for 20, and your kid's always getting 20 for 20, they're going to be a confident kid, right? So competence over praise, in my opinion. Sorry, go ahead, Line.
No, he was saying about guidance and critique, like that's a separate thing. I'm like, you can guide and critique them at the same time. What are you talking about?
Exactly. Yep.
Is all of us were raised by different parents. All of us are successful and figured out some things. And I'm sure our parents dropped the ball in some spaces. I think that all of us are doing our best in raising our children. And while we don't necessarily align 100% in our mindset and how we're raising our children, we're doing the motherfucking thing. So I'm proud of all y'all.
And these people are cooked no matter who they get with. The brothers, the sisters, even if they get with white girls, they done.
So basically, all of that conversation to say everybody is doing a great job.
Dude, why are you reading my mind? No. Why are you reading my mind? Everybody, oh, it was lying.
And some time ago, I'm not trying to bring up any beefs or anything. I'm just saying this was the reason why I was stating some time ago in a conversation. No, I don't care. If some person comes to my sons or daughter with this, that, if they do not have compatible family relations and all of that stuff, it's a no.
Correct. Yeah.
Now they have a decision to make if they want to, go do that, and they're gonna feel the repercussions of that. That's for them to decide. But this idea of, oh, I'm my own guy, I can just do whatever I want, or I'm my own girl, I can do whatever I want, and I want to attach myself to your family, and you should just accept me for what I mean. It's like, are you crazy? Are you crazy?
Yeah, I personally don't get it, but that is just not going down. Sir Tice loves this story. I had Baby Friedman was doing what would be considered a very Caucasian activity filled with Caucasians, and one of the little girls that worked there came up pregnant. So it's a real life example of baby momism. And I talked to my wife about it, and she was like, you know what? I thought the same thing. We gotta, I, for one, do not take my socioeconomic status for granted. Right? I do not think that I do not want my daughter witnessing a teenager get pregnant, be praised for it, face no criticism, and she's going to an event and the chick's getting a baby shower or something. Like, that's not okay. Like, I do not want her to see that at all. So we were like, peace out. So yes, it is like what you raised them around. You have to have a standard.
Just because she got pregnant didn't mean she couldn't teach that activity. See, it's men like you that's the problem.
Well, call me the problem. I will be the problem. And I have no qualms about it either. Like, no, like going over like Round Rock, the moms that were killed in Round Rock. None of these fools had anything to say about that. They will literally let you die and won't give it a second thought. So I have no problem ferociously protecting my family from BS.
It's wild that you say that, because we remember looking at those posters of who was going to be featured at that Juneteenth festival. And I don't know, just as a father, I'm looking at that and like, oh, nah. You guys better. It should be someone on the poster that's like, yeah, there's gonna be a family bunny hop going on. I don't want to hear anything about it.
So you mean the Coon
Wall or something like that? Like, no, come on, this is supposed to be a family event. No.
The Coon clan didn't take part in Juneteenth festivities? You're saying?
Come on.
Hey, man, short story. When I lived in Minnesota, before I consider myself pretty versed in history, man, but I didn't even know what Juneteenth was. And this is back in 96, man. And I said, okay, so let's try to go to it. Man, you hearing all these pop, 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 pop. I'm like, I'm on the ground and I'm like, hey, dude, I didn't leave Detroit to come to Minnesota, and I have not been to any kind of Juneteenth situation. And every year, and this is before it became a national thing, way before, it was always some pop, 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 for whatever reason, Juneteenth is the day that the people who have the beef, they're gonna settle it. But let's look at some of these. Are these flyers gonna be as good as the MLK Day flyers, Friedman?
Well, no, they're, just the entertainment. DJ Hella Yella, Kirko Bangs, Dat Boy Play. Who else? Lloyd, Paul Wall. These don't look like the OJs.
Oh wow, sir.
And that's the thing, man. Because you had a good point, SKC. We talked about this earlier. It was, is the entertainment always like this, or was last year it was a Commodore's cover band? You know what I mean? And this year it became all this cast of characters. So who knows? But I, like you, would not have gone had I seen this entertainment. Like, not gonna be there. Heck, man, my daughter's playing with this other little girl. Then her mom and my wife got to talking, and then I was like, and I'm looking at her hands like I don't see a wedding ring, And I'm sitting there listening, like, hey, man, if this is a baby mama, she can't. This will. We're not setting up any play dates. That's not happening. Mm-mm. But anyway,
people will call that being a lead or being stuck up and all that other stuff. But
you forgot thinking better. You forgot that one.
Yeah, but it's just you know how some people will throw up the whole street activity and all that life, and they'll say, oh man, you're not about this life and so forth. And I'm like, okay, you're right. So there has to be an opposite of that as well when it comes to all of the superstructure family and all that else. You are not about this life.
You ain't about that life. You're not going to music camp on Saturdays. You ain't about this life.
But for some reason, those type of people, and not all, but a lot of them feel as though they can migrate between any group as they see fit.
Right.
But other people can't do that in their stuff. Like it's weird. I don't understand how they come up with this.
That's the fight. That's the fight to have ghetto things seem mainstream, right? Like you're supposed to be able to go to Beverly Hills and look like you came out of Compton, and everybody's supposed to be comfortable. Nah, that's not how it works.
Yeah, and also want to gate. They want to gatekeep blackness, but then get mad when other people want to integrate with it.
That's Lion. What you just said, I heard Friedman say it in a reverse way. Somebody. Okay, yeah, I was here in the background. Let's be honest. Maybe Lion, you never heard this. Blackness is nothing but anti-whiteness. So it's not about, you're grounded in how you are and how you look, your appearance. Your appearance, pardon me, you wear your own hair, those kind of things. That's not what they're talking about. It's basically anything that's anti-white. But the minute that a white chick get air quotes box braids, or you see a white family enjoying some collard greens and smoked turkey legs, now their culture.
Oh, you acting black,
right?
Yeah.
Now their culture. Now their culture.
Hey, did that?
But let me get the last, because I was trying to get a joke off too. But it was like they're culturally appropriating, but none of your hair is yours. You're eating Chinese food and every other kind of food that you think would look good on your Instagram photos, but you're not culturally appropriated. You're not being culturally appropriated. It's just stupid, man.
Yeah, I culturally appropriate like a motherfucker. When I eat Chinese food, I eat with chopsticks.
It's the melting pot, man.
Likewise,
I'm appropriating like a motherfucker.
The melting pot.
Just
hey, did that white girl earlier at the video you played, Freeman? That white girl, did she have box braids?
Which one?
She damn
with the dude flying down the road. Did she have box braids, or was she just like a regular old white? I didn't see the girl. I was like doing stuff.
She had a braid. I do remember that.
Yeah, it looked like she had some kind of ghetto hairstyle, like she had it glued, like edges, like her edges glued down with whatever that gel is.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
No, what's worse? No, what's worse? And we kind of said it earlier. Is somebody? I think it was SKC. Yeah, it was. No, it wasn't SKC. I think it was Lion. Okay. Anyways, we had said just said it earlier about Damn, I just lost my train of thought just that quick about the whole blackness thing and what blackness is to these people, and this is what they want to gatekeep. And I'm like, if this is all you want to gatekeep, you can have it.
Let them have it.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I do find it funny that people will complain about how crazy the world is and how like wacky everybody is, and then be surprised when somebody like safeguards their life so that they don't have any part of it. I do find that that's weird. It's like if you have a solution for your life, you're like out of pocket.
Oh, that's because you're weak. You stayed in the house. You
Yeah.
stayed on the porch.
So like we dysfunctional. We're dysfunctional. We have issues. We all got problems. But hey, why don't you let my kid hang out with your kid? Like
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't want your problem.
Okay. All right.
You're
Nice
right.
to
I
meet
got
you.
enough problems.
Nice
I
to
don't
meet you.
want- Right.
Nigga,
I
you
got enough
crazy.
problems. I don't want yours.
Yeah, man. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Mm-mm. Ain't happening at all ever. Like, no, I
But
don't
yeah,
need.
like just because you hear me and my wife screaming at each other every night doesn't mean that your kid can't hang with my kid. Like that doesn't mean that we can't hang out. It's like nah, I'm
Well,
cool.
every relationship is like that. Free zone. What you talking about?
Well, we got our ups and downs, our lefts and rights, and yeah, it's all everybody do it.
Yeah, that's the. And you know what? That is too a cultural thing. What are you used to? Right? What are you used to? If you're used to all the dysfunction, yada yada, you think you're normal. You think that's normal, right? Just like who's that guy? Psychopathias was like, I had to leave Round Rock. It was too quiet.
Hey man, you remember
Right?
that?
Yeah.
I thought only SKC remembered that. That shit was hilarious.
I got the
Oh,
clip.
Somebody
That's a
somebody
beautiful
said that
clip.
they left the neighborhood because it was too quiet.
Yeah, yeah. Guy
Uh-huh.
on
Wait a minute, Free
one of
Zone. Do you have it
SKC
queued up?
streams.
Can you cue it up? 'Cause
I don't have it
literally-
queued up. Give me a second. Give me a second.
I'll explain it to you, Lion. Though I was having a conversation with a guy. He's more of like an ultra pro black guy, Psychopathias, and and he was telling me about once where he moved, I guess from upstate northeast part of the United States to Round Rock, Texas, I believe it was, and he was saying that he had a nice house there and the company put him up, and but how he was around all of these white people and he didn't feel comfortable, and that at night it was too quiet and he didn't know what would happen to him, and he just said he had to get out of there because it was too serene.
I didn't know that. But this is
Yeah,
coming from a person who is a former New York native who grew up around noise. That sounds like serenity to me.
Yeah, and the crazy part is that his job paid for that quiet home.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, good old racist Dell, I think. What do you say worked at Dell? But company moved him down to Round Rock. It was like, I can't do it.
I think it was.
Company paid for your move and you left because it was too quiet.
Yeah. And it's just too many white people.
I welcome white people. Shit. I welcome that shit. I want more white people because I know y'all gonna act.
But
I know you motherfuckers gonna act.
hey,
like the white
SKC though, at least he's consistent though.
Yeah, and that is a I don't know why that popped up into my mind this past week, Free Zone, but it sparked a long history of people on panels and stuff, and yeah, man, well, at least he's consistent. I can respect that. And I thought to myself, like, holy crap, that is some of the dumbest stuff I've ever heard.
I mean, if your communitized base is always used to getting tricked on, you start to respect at least the person that is consistent. That, hey, I'm coming to, I'm not trying to pull a fast one on you. I'm just trying to rob you straight up. So, it's that whole savior. It wraps into that whole savior thing.
Yeah, can take the person, can take the take you can take yourself out of the community, but you can't take the community out of the person.
Do you understand the long-term picture that a person is painting with that? You don't change.
You think they care?
Like, holy crap! That's the position of the dudes that hang out on the corner all day long, forever, and never change. And
I remember, no, I said it earlier, but I said for those who believe it, y'all might not have missed it, but there's another expression when dudes are trying to sound deep, man, you a product of your environment. And many of people accept this axiom. And I'm like, no, not if you choose not to be. But we just take things at face value, man. That's how, or I'm sorry, SKC, and you can have the mic back after I say this, because what is the most common expression next to standing on business? It is what it is. No, it's not. It's not what it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of maxims that come from Das Communitas that just does not make any sense whatsoever. One that I'm going to talk about, hopefully if I'm available tomorrow over at Truisms, is history is written by the victor. I'll do the thought experiment with Sir Tice. Sir Tice.
Yes.
You probably saw some fights at school, right?
Of course.
Did you ever see someone get jumped by more than one person?
Yes.
Okay. The person that used multiple people to jump the other person won the fight in most occasions.
Correct.
So do you say that the person that used multiple people to win the fight won the fight in a just way, and they were the bad, they were the man on campus?
Of course not.
But that doesn't equate to the victor, that the history is written by the victor. Because what they don't realize is that there were other entities that were looking in at situations such as wars and battles and all this other stuff that had nothing to do with it. They were just observers.
I got one even better for you, dog, and it's kind of more on the serious side. But you're right, and like I said, that flimsy thing is easy to deconstruct, because here's the thing. Wait, you're gonna love this one, SKC, and the panel, but you especially. If history is written by the victors, then why are we take books like this? I'm going to go on camera for a second. Why do we take books like this, When I Was a Slave, which is a collection of slave narratives by various slaves or whatever, right? Why do we take Richard Wright, Black Boy, Man Child in the Promised Land? I'm trying to think of more of these books by a lot of these Marxist authors. Oh God, what's another staple? I'm just looking. I had to turn around because I have to read these things coming up. But why do we take those? Since Black people weren't the victors, we have no problem listening to what's the gay dude, James Baldwin. And taking that at face value, right? You see how easy it is to break down these dumbass axioms. History is written by the winners. Well, you don't even believe that. Look at where you get your, marching orders and your perspective from. Franz Fanon. What's the book Friedman that Franz Fanon wore? That's another one of those. That's Vivek Harnell's favorite book. Her and Tone. Oh God, I can't think of the name. It's basically it's a collection. It's a straight up collection of how to be the best victim. But I'm just saying, how you refute these people and then they're mad at you because you can raise a practical argument. I remember you used to do this regularly, SKC, when you used to, I won't say have debates with those people, but you would actually join their panels and talk to them. I'm like, man, that dude has the patience. You have the patience of a monk to sit through there,
Hey, let's listen to this real quick, and then I'm gonna get out of here.
We can't hear it, Free.
So
just quick question, real quick. I'll let you guys.
In my neighborhood, like the hood, but like my little white community over there, they was getting robbed. They was getting a bunch of people because I always get my house doors locked. I might get my car doors open, but I always get my house doors locked because I'm from the hood. Now, even though I was in the 8th safest town in America, according to Forbes magazine, when I was living out there at the time, I still locked all my doors because it's a habit. And I don't trust people. And showing up, the people was coming up there robbing people. So
just quick question, real quick. I'll let you guys get right back at it. And we also have Shannon B and Conservative and Free Zone Lou, so please include them as well. Trey and Freeman. But the question, real quick, Psychobadius, you were talking earlier to Freeman's Journal about not leaving the hood. Why did you move to Round Rock?
Job opportunity, got a career.
Oh, the question right out my mouth. You could live south. I lived in Austin for 3 years. You could live south of.
Yeah, I know. I found out after I moved there. When I went to go move there, the company had a house that they was trying to sell, and it was for a good price. And I jumped on it. I wasn't familiar with the area, so that's why I just jumped on the house because it was a good price. It was a good house. So that's
a good
what
opportunity, and it led you to a majority white community.
Yeah. I didn't hang out there. Nothing. I actually did go to a lot.
I'm sorry. It just sounds so weird from you because you're kind of pro-black, and you're like, well, it was a good opportunity, and the house was right. So I really did research it. I just knew that it was all right.
Let me finish. No, like I said, I didn't hang out there. I would always go to 6th Street. I would go to South Boston and everything else and spend my money to every black business I could find. I would still go online and order things off eBay off black people and this, that, and the third. So I still supported black people. And I still I just lived there. I just lived there. I wasn't. It's not like I was up there just hanging out with white people. No,
I lived in Austin for 3 years. For the audience, Austin is a super white.
Yeah,
no, not South Boston. South Boston is black people. It's black people in South Boston.
That's southeast side. I know where you're talking about.
Yeah, it's black people in South Boston.
One of my homeboy's sons just got killed out there. I know exactly what you're talking about. My homeboy's son just got killed out there.
Yeah,
so
like
that's a small area.
Rundenberg Lane had black people over there and everything else. It's a certain section in North Boston that had black people, and South Boston had most of the black people.
But the crime rate is like 400% higher than the rest of Austin. Why subject yourself to that?
Well, I never got robbed.
It happened to me. So
I did. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I never got robbed. And I went down there to support the businesses and stuff, man, and be around my people.
Bro, I gotta sit up here.
That's my people. That's what I was going to be.
So here's the deal, man. Real quick again. I just gotta ask this because it just I get this on the other side of this. So I'm wondering. So you say you supported black businesses. You went down to where black people was at, but you just lived where the white folk were. So you were supporting black, but where you sleep and lay down at, you were just sleeping white though.
Sleeping white? No, I don't know.
Yeah, because you were sleeping around where the white people are.
Oh, you mean rest of my head? You talk rest of my head? Yeah, rest of my head. Yeah.
You know where your tax money went, right? Your tax money went to those white folks' kids so they could have a better education.
Yeah.
Why not give that to your kids and your future grandkids too?
Well, it's tax money. I mean, I had to pay my tax money. I mean, you make it seem like I did it voluntarily.
No. I'm saying that your kids and your grandkids could benefit off of that too.
I mean, my seed got taken care of. What do you mean? Like my seed was getting taken care of?
No, I'm saying your future generation. Say, okay, let's just say you found, this conservative in the black sense, black woman who wanted to I know you're pro-black, wanted to hey, let's link up, let's do this. And your son, he raised a family, they did it out in Round Rock, and then 80 years from now, they've had their own establishment out there, and they're far removed from any kind of effery of, grandkids getting killed, drive-bys, anything like that.
Trey, we just stumbled onto a truth about why the black schools districts don't work. When they say they need more money, yeah, it is a tax-based thing, right? But black people with money don't want to live in black neighborhoods, so you're not going to get those black tax dollars to go to those black schools.
I agree with that, and that's the problem too, because black people get money, they take off and leave, and then the money ain't circulating within black people. So it's an evil cycle. Evil cycle.
No, it's hilarious because you are the guy.
What? I am the guy. What?
Living around Rock.
Casey just brought up. Your tax dollars are going to Bobby, not Trey Sean. Bobby.
Yeah. Yeah. It was going there. I lived there for 3 years. Yeah.
And I can't believe I'm the nice one.
But again, how many these other people moved out and never went back? They didn't go back and spend their money there. I went back and spent my money to the. I went to the hood to spend my money.
I would argue that you felt a sense of allegiance, maybe some kind of guilt. I'm the nigga that made it, because that's the thing, right? That survivor's guilt. Maybe not you, Fine.
I wouldn't spend money where I feel comfortable spending money at. I felt comfortable spending money with my people.
You felt comfortable living around white people, so I think that argument.
No, actually, I didn't feel comfortable living around white people. I hated it.
I gotta know why.
That's cap.
Did you have too many white women flirting with you when you were going to check your mail? Because I'm gonna tell you what, bro. Every day I go outside, all those white women with these beta husbands are all smiling and waving.
Wait. Hold on.
All the Beckys that live around me was married. I don't know. They were flirting. I didn't pick up on it because I wasn't talking to them. They would come up to white people are nosy. They would always come up and talk to me and ask me questions. They wonder what I was doing over there.
Let me get this right. You said all of the Beckys that were around you were married.
For the most part, yeah. Yeah,
you didn't get robbed around there. It was
I did, but other people got robbed.
It was a nice neighborhood. It was a good price for the house, and you said you hated it.
Well, it was a good price for the house. But the house that I was getting, it was supposed to be sold for a certain price.
Were living down the worst years of your life, Psychopathies?
Were these the worst years of my life? What, financially?
No,
Financially,
just in period. No,
financially,
just
no.
in period.
Socially, yes.
So you just hated
Socially.
living there.
Yeah.
In that peaceful neighborhood with those married people.
That's why I never. That's why I would go there. Like on the weekends, I was hardly ever home. On the weekends, I was hardly ever home. Only time I really was home was during the week when I, going home back and forth from work. But during the weekends, I was out. Like I said, 6th Street, South Boston. Sometimes I'd be in North Boston over there by Rundenberg because I knew some brothers over there. And it's actually the black people out in Round Rock. I knew some black people that lived in this little small pocket of black people in Round Rock I used to go hang out with over there.
You know what this sound like, Psycho? And please don't take me wrong on this because I'm not trying to come at you, but I'm about to make an awkward comparison, I know. And so forgive me, please. But the same way when we're talking about dating, how black women don't like the calm, peaceful stability of the good man, and eventually they're going to cheat on him with a thug. Bro, you cheated on your nice white neighborhood with a bunch of thug nigga neighborhoods. What the fuck, bro?
It's Psycho. It's funny, bro. Hey, I got homies up there too, man. You know Leander, right? Right down the road from Round Rock. Right up the road from 183. Yeah. All the niggas are married to white women, bro, and they're quite happy.
I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. I mean,
maybe that's what you were lacking.
Nah, I'm cool.
A white woman would have made it better.
Nah, I'm like it's a culture shock for me actually because it was too damn quiet. I'm from a noisy city.
What did I just say, my nigga? I know what I'm talking about. I hear it. I see it.
Guy, I can't even finish saying what I'm saying. I was just saying there's some truth to what you said because it was a culture shock to me because I'm used to hearing things, right? I'm used to hearing things. Everything else was hard to sleep because it was too quiet. There was nothing going on. And some people like that. Some people want that. I'm not used to that. It was a little bit disturbing for me to hear it so quiet because every little thing I heard made me jerk up and look and everything. Like it's just not for me. It just wasn't for me.
Bro, didn't I call it? No, because I see it. Like, bro, it sounds just like it is the same psychology for like good black women don't want to get with good black men. And I use good black women loosely, but you know, black women in general. Black women in general, they keep coming. I keep hearing this idea from a lot of black women that good black men, stability and peace is boring. It is uncomfortable for them. And now you're making an argument from your own perspective that the stability and peace of white America is boring and uncomfortable. And I think it's related. I think it's fucking related.
No. Can I be a good guy for once? I'm gonna be the good guy. I'm being a good guy today. Psychopathy. Like every other time I've heard you, man, I'm like, man, fuck that dude. He's pro-black. But the more I talk to you, I'm like, man, he could be one of my niggas here in Texas. I'm like, bro, do you know what you're missing out on here? Bro, I live in the cut.
Texas?
I love the yes.
I know what I'm missing in Texas. I'm missing good weed prices, no state taxes, and a bunch of heat that I couldn't stand. I'm from the fucking Northeast. I couldn't take being able to having like 2 weeks of winter. I couldn't take that shit. Like,
Psychopathy said.
I can't stand this type of life.
Wait a minute.
Notice he just missed that last part. He ain't say nothing about me hating the heat and everything else because I'm used to the cold weather up here in the Northeast, and I'm used to having breaks between the heat, and down there was no breaks. But he ain't laughing about that.
No, I'm not laughing.
But
bro, you get your house with that. No, here's the deal, bro. No, this is what I might offer you is come back to Texas. Me and y'all might not believe it. I know a lot of people might not believe it, but most of my homies here are black. You know, a bunch of them ain't married black women. I got a couple, like 4 or 5 that are. But it is so much better. Get you a new house with that spray installation. You ain't got to worry about the heat when you got that. Come back, enjoy life.
I had that. Who you talking about? My house had AC, central air. But yeah,
some of the spray installation in the roof that prevents that Texas sun from baking.
No, that's not the house. In the house is the problem.
It's called taking a summer trip.
What about taking a summer trip?
That's what it's called. Taking a summer trip. We do it every year.
Yeah, a vacation, dude.
And what y'all putting up? What? Like, I don't understand. Like, okay, listen. Like, so I guess it's weird that people aren't used to things being too quiet. That's weird. Like, that's
bro, I had to, Psychopathy. I had to go with. I ain't gonna, man. I lost it all flipping houses in Houston. And before I moved to Japan, I had to go stay with my mother-in-law in Washington Heights, bro. Bro, I hated every single day. Every single day, I was like, please God, just let me be back in Texas. I'll never mess up money-wise again. Bro, that was. And then my daughters came up there to see me. They was like teenagers at the time, and they all hanging out. With wifey's nieces. I'm like, no, I was scared every time they went outside. I don't want that, bro. I'm just saying, like, I would like for you to come back and be like, let's put it side by side. Let's do the test. I come up there with you. You come down there with me, and let's see what's better. Let's put it on paper.
On better, like when you say better, meaning what? Like, what are you looking for? That's what, like some people want peace and quiet. Some of y'all want peace and quiet, and that's cool. That's what you. That's your thing. I don't like peace. I don't like peace and quiet. I like hearing things. I like background noise. I can't even go to sleep without the TV or something being on because I need some background noise. That's just me. I think
the problem comes when it's like a lot of black people maybe are so used to the chaos and the cacophony of the ghetto and the black neighborhoods that you don't understand what peace really is, right? So for a lot of black folk, no, I'm not talking about you directly. I mean, in general, right? So for a lot of black folk, what winds up happening is we lose sight of like what the basics of life are because we're surrounded by so much chaos.
No, I know. Listen, I know the life that people are living and everything else. My walk of life is again, I'm a city dude. I was raised in the city. It's noise there, but it's black people, white people, whatever. It's noise there. Rock is not the city. Now, if I lived in Houston, where that's actually a city, it probably would have bothered me. But I'm used to being. I'm used to being outside of the city. So, so when I moved outside of the city, as far as like living, I've been outside the city, outside, like visiting and traveling and everything. But as far as living, that was the first time I lived outside of the city. And yeah, the peace and quiet was nerve wracking for me. It was hard to sleep at night.
Yeah, I you know what? Oh man. And here's the thing. I'm from the Northeast too. Granted, when I moved further south, it took some getting used to. Was there adjustment? Yes. But now I've grown to love it. So now when I go back home and I visit and I hear all that noise, I'm like, what the hell? Why is it so noisy out here? It's the opposite for me now. So when I go to busy places and I see there's too much going on, I don't want to be near it. I'm like, y'all got too much shit going on here for me.
Right.
There's too much going on. Y'all, I need y'all to sit still. But
Exactly.
yeah. Hood was hitting on when he said that, as far as like black men being uncomfortable with that. I'm like, no. Yeah. Nah.
Cheating on
Yeah.
he was cheating on his white neighborhood.
You cheating on you didn't tell me you was cheating on your neighborhood with a white person. You were playing black but sleeping white where you lay your head. That was funny. Oh, but yeah, hell, I love the quiet now. Was it an adjustment? Yes, but now I've grown to love it. Now that's all I want is quiet. Like the next place I move better be just as quiet, if not more.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, because I grew up on an artery street in the city, and it was, you heard ambulances every so often and all that.
Yeah. I
But
grew
now,
up within the five boroughs. I grew up within the 5 boroughs of New York. So yeah, I know all about noise. Yeah.
All right,
Thanks for
Lion.
having me up though, man.
I'm about to get out of here. You got any last words?
Nah. Just thank you for having me up. Glad I was able to catch you this one time when you had a panic. But yeah, I'll definitely be listening more often, man. But thank you for having me up. I appreciate you.
All right, no problem.
All right.
All right. Well, we're about to get out of here, ladies and germs. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Appreciate everybody in the chat. If you have not hit the like, hit it on your way out. Yeah, and that's all we got, man. Just be true to yourself, right? It's okay to be better. And if you're going to do something, improve yourself. That's it. We're all in this life together, I suppose. And we all have to forge the culture and the nation that we want. And that's where we're at right now. So, yeah, I am very much up for the big tent, but there are rules, right? There are rules. All right. Talk to y'all later.